No, she
We
had.
see each other daytime, so we get the
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Pam was there. Pam used to go up there. She usually always did a Mississippi. Usually stayed at federal attorney. And they sent a letter to her, and somebody received it and didn't think it was very important. So when I told her that somebody had signed for the thing, she called her and said, "Well, I didn't think it was that important." She said, "Not important to me." So from then on, they knew the others. Yeah. They have to be arrested. Finally, still. He had been there long.
Just thank you.
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you guys.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Jim.
Jim?
Jim.
Jim.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Easy. Thanks for coming down, you guys, right? You bring
Yeah, right?
So you guys do the that's what no lie. State because also we're going to invite up six. It's approved in the Parks and Rec meeting, which I'm on. So I have to stay in case of person that's going. It's good at least you want to get to see.
Yes.
It's when you're retired. It's a good thing.
No, well, I'm just
More.
You just gotta go take it like one-on-one. Yeah, you can make that over. Yeah. Just look at this way. If you don't do a good job, they won't ask you to have you. have to do it again.
That's great. Remember that? Yeah. She's not gonna win. I know where I'm not.
See, if you do a good job, then say, well, come to the next meeting. Yeah, the next one.
Thank you. I'm just here by accident. By accident. Yeah. I got myself in.
So Matt was supposed to come. Oh, wow. Oh, she didn't go. This year she did.
I'm here. That's all that matters. I showed up. I showed up. And I told her, if you hear that I didn't, sorry.
Yeah.
No? Apologize. Because she's really good at public speaking. Yeah. And, you know, she has everything on it. And I was like, I really apologize. No, but you're so sweet. And she's like, this is great. She even sent me a message. This is great.
Yes. Yes. So I thought she should be here.
That would be a good idea.
Just to see. If you can give you a straight up.
Probably like, know everyone's great. But it's like, it's nice to be here and finally, yeah, look at that. Because that's hard.
God, this is kind of the first city to recognize me.
I was here first. You're following me.
Everyone gets together. But it's like, it looks good. Like, okay, I didn't know we were gonna do this.
Good? You were there last week ago, Friday. That was something else. That was wonderful. That was one of the best 5 hours I've spent in my life. No, I mean really, because it's so relevant to everything we do and all of our businesses and our water district, everything. It's relevant to all of it. Yeah, I mean, what a great group of experts. And Jay Obernolte is such a good guy. And for him to set up that committee and demand that they be equal Republican. And then everything they do is being passed unanimously. So it's just brilliant on his part. Of course, nobody ever accused him of being a dummy. Have you been in his office?
what I mean. Oh, no, the other one, the new one's really nice. Yeah, he deserves it. Yeah. And they serve Dr. Pepper, so it's the best office in the entire capital. Because that's what Paul Cook did before. There's a bottler for somebody up in their district, up big bear or somewhere up there that make sure that they.
All right, good evening. We have a full house. I know, it's awesome. And Milford's here. All right, so we are going to call our meeting to order, and we'll begin with a roll call from the city clerk. Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Spencer,
Present.
Councilmember Popescu,
Here by audio Zoom, and I just want to let you know that I'm going to only be joining you for about an hour. I've got lots of other projects going on right here where I'm at.
thank you for that information. Councilmember Rigsby,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Daly,
Here.
Mayor Duper.
Present.
We have a quorum, and I did want to just confirm that Councilmember Popescu is participating via teleconferencing. So therefore, all the council votes will be conducted by roll call. I will try to manually do them on the system to record in my minutes. I also wanted to remind everyone, council members, staff, and the public to please speak into the microphone so it records, and also for our council member who's participating teleconferencing can hear everybody speak. Thank you.
Who's on the beach in Dubai, I think, right?
Might be on the ski slopes.
I don't think so.
All right, thank you very much. We did not have a closed session this evening. We'll begin with our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Spencer Wong.
Wonderful decisions and to share your light. And we ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Mr. City Manager, are there any items to be added or deleted?
No, sir.
We will deal with any conflicts of interest if they arise. At this point in our meeting, we're going to open up to public participation. This is limited to items that are not on the agenda. For anything that a member of the public would like to speak on, I believe we have some slips that have been submitted.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we have 4.
My name is Fred Ramos. I live in Bryn Mawr. I've been there since 1939. I'm going to celebrate my 92nd birthday. I'm here because of the presentation that we had at the Bryn Mawr Park on the 11th, and the turnout was fantastic. I want to thank Jarv because he was instrumental in us having what we had. We had quite a few people that made quite little history, and the names were read because they mentioned that in World War II, there was 66 people that came out of the Bryn Mawr area. So, and that was, some families had 3, and the presentation was because of the 4 that didn't come back. They were killed in World War II. So I want to thank Jarv, and I want to thank the fire department for the presentations they made and having their vehicles there and starting the presentation. Like I said, I wish all of you could have been there because I was surprised. I was expecting maybe 25 people, but we had quite a few chairs and a lot of people standing around. And again, thank you for the city for allowing the memories of the people that gave us the freedom that we have now. Thank you. Any questions?
Fred?
Fred? Can you come back up to the?
No questions, but the mayor and I were there, and we wanted to, I'm here. We wanted to touch bases with you and talk with you a bit, but the line was so long with people that were wanting to interact with you that other factors began to come into play. But you are an honorable member of, or honorable citizen of this city, and all of us up here have known you for a while now. And I
hope they were good.
Well, yeah, I hope so too. I didn't know how important you were until I saw the line I had to get in to get up to talk with you. But it was a great ceremony, and we were all very proud. And you were a prominent part of it. So
Well, I wish I could have gone up there and speak to the people, but we'd still be there if I was there, if I would be talking, because I would start with the history of the area. And some of the history was there was a baseball game that was played there in that park. And the Chicago Cubs sent a team to play the Bryn Mawr team because of one of the pitchers that played for Bryn Mawr. So that area has a lot of history and a lot of honor. And I wish, like I said, if I was allowed to speak, I'd still be there speaking and boring you.
The other thing I wanted to point out that I didn't understand, but when they read the names of the Bryn Mawr citizens that had been fighting in wars, World War II forward, it was a unique and profound combination of ethnicities, and most of them didn't look like me.
Yeah.
So it was significant. I appreciated it. I really did. And
Well-
and they referred to you as
The mayor of Bryn Mawr.
the unofficial
Well,
mayor of Bryn Mawr.
everywhere that I go, they say that, but no, I'm just a representative. Like I said, two of the people that didn't come back were my uncles. So I was very pleased to see the outcome. And again, I thank the city, especially the fire department and Jarv, for allowing this to happen.
We all thank
It's a public
Jarv.
work team. It's a public work team, so not just me. It's public works. So.
Yeah. Good point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. I think the other thing worth noting is with some of the names that were read are familiar because there are streets named after them in parts of the city. And so it really shows the history of the city and the community surrounding it.
Again, I
just
hate to
put a
bore
battery in
you.
I just put a battery in you.
Bore you, but
When you're
some of
done
the streets on Juanita Street were named after the people of the 16th of September that they celebrate because of the fighting between the ordinary people and the Spanish government that was president in what you call the Western United States. So the streets, Anita, Adela, and Juanita were the ladies that fought in the independence of Mexico.
Thank you. Okay, do we have other speakers?
Yes, we do. We have 4 speakers. And I neglected to, each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and I neglected to put the timer earlier. So I hope no one gets offended because I am going to put the timer for, it should be for all speakers. I have Capri.
Hello, everybody. My name is Capri. I live at 24666 University Avenue. I had sent an email about a month ago to a bunch of people, whoever can find their email addresses, regarding the crosswalk off of University and Campus Street. It's a 4-way stop. So I am blessed to live across the street from Loma Linda University, which is where I work. But my 1-hour commute was safer than me walking across the street. I constantly am having to be very aware of my surroundings and jump out of the way because the cars either blow past the stop sign or as soon as you're past their bumper, they're peeling out of there. And before anyone says, well, are you looking both ways? I used to work at a racetrack. Cars have the right of way. I'm not trying to get hit. So yes, I am making eye contact. I'm pausing. I'm not on my phone. I'm saying thank you when I'm walking by. So the sheriff's office, they did send out patrol cars. So thank you so much for doing that. They can't be there all the time. I did also include Loma Linda security as well, but they're also part of the problem because they did the same exact thing as the other people. So just letting the city council be aware of that this is an issue. And if I'm having an issue, then the students who are on their phones walking across the street, they're definitely going to have an issue. And then also with our driveway into our apartment complex, we all go head in, but then we have to back out. And the red curbs on both sides of the driveway, they're very faded. People park there, and I actually called, and the sheriff's office came out, and even the sheriff was like, oof, I don't know if I can really give him a ticket or not because it's so faded, and it actually looks like someone tried to home job it. So it really needs to get painted, especially because the owner of the property, she's 100 years old. She has a full-time live-in nurse. And if there's everything that's wrong, our first responders cannot get to her because people are blocking the driveway by parking in the red zone. So just those 2 things, the intersection 4-way stop off a university and campus is just dangerous. And then we would really like those red curbs painted so that way people don't park there. So, and it's also a permit area too. So if we can regularly so I don't have to call every single day because it's not meant for them. So cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I think the right people heard that, so I think we'll move on.
Next speaker is Andrea De Leon.
Hello, good evening, Council and Mayor. Nice to see all of you. Can I just say thank you, Mr. Ramos. Thank you for your service. I just wanted to say thank you all for the support that you gave for our leadership, Loma Linda Leadership Summit. It was just outstanding to see such support coming from the city staff, Lorena, from Loma Linda University Hospital, from Chandra and her team, and just all the people that were there. And, I took a lot of pride in seeing not just that you all as city council members sitting there and the staff being supportive, but actually engaging and learning and really, immersed in the conversation. And I just wanted to say thank you also we had a lot of support from the businesses here. So including CRNR and Courtyard and Marathon Media, the 76 station, United Properties, and of course Esri. Their contributions to the day were just immense. And I just want to say from my heart, personal thank you.
Thank you for putting it on. It was a great event. If you missed it, we're all looking forward to number 2. But anyway, it was well put on. Thank you very much. It was and it was a combined effort. The university did a phenomenal job putting it all together and laying it out for us. So thank you, Chandra.
Comment.
Yes, Ron.
It was, I've been to hundreds of different kinds of workshops over the years. This one was really good, partly because I knew about AI, but I really didn't know anything about it. And I left feeling that I was enriched and I learned a lot. And I'm glad I am from the generation I am, because I don't know that I could handle it for the future. But it was very, very well done. So the challenge you have is to sustain what you started. But it was very good. So thank you. Oh, yeah. Chandra was, yeah. Best speaker of the whole day. Yeah.
I actually recruited the doctor from Cal State San Bernardino he's going to come and do another presentation for me this week. Yeah, very phenomenal. I mean, all the speakers were. Anthony did, everybody did phenomenal. So it was really good. All right. Yes, very much. Okay, last but not least.
Two more speakers. Emily
Two more.
Duisberg. If I missed him.
Hello. I just have a question. My name's Emily Duisberg. I live on State Street in Loma Linda. State Street, 25614 State Street. And I have a question about the bike path that runs along, I think it's actually Santa Mateo Creek. It's concreted over. Between Mountain View and then over to like California Barton, where the bike path hits Barton, there are two bridges that go across the creek. One of them is at the park near Ragsdale, where the power lines are, and then the other one is a little bit further east. And they are both locked, so it's not possible to access the bike path there. And I was wondering what's going on with that, because I would like to be able to access the bike path.
Unfortunately, you're about a year too late.
Okay.
There was a community drive to actually close those gates because of all the crime and homeless that were using them to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So very specifically, the folks that live in those neighborhoods were the hardest petitioners.
I'm sure.
And then all the crime went away once we locked the gates.
I suspected it might have been something like that. So they will remain closed, I take it. Okay. Well.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we can't control what some of those populations choose to do, and unfortunately, they chose to use that as ways in and out of those neighborhoods, and it was really kind of terrorizing for some of those folks. So.
Yeah, and that probably answers my sort of follow-on question, which is about the general maintenance of that bike path and the condition and the garbage and so forth that is related to.
Now that's a good question, because is that ours or is that county flood control?
It's a county flood control, but we do work with them to clean them up.
Okay.
So.
Did they see the actual homeless or the crime going across the bridge? Was that actually somebody saw?
Remember, there was video.
I remember that, and then
video and photographs.
I don't remember the video, but I was wondering if they actually showed people like that had because I remember there was huge burglaries over there. But if they were, because I didn't imagine they were stealing like people's heating, like, and not carrying it out of there, but it was like in their vehicles.
And then, unfortunately, they were not real happy when we locked the gates, so they started vandalizing, tearing the gates down, and that went on for several months until we had to seriously reinforce them. So it was clearly some folks that were not real happy, and they were not handling it appropriately. So.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Now, last but not least.
Ghani Aish.
Mr. Mayor, council members, city manager, staff, thank you for the opportunity to give me the time to submit my request for an appeal to give me an extension of time to submit the appeal for the city council regarding the PDR 2025-0012, which is development of vacant lot on Park Avenue. The only thing we missed the time after the Planning Commission denied our request, our appeal, for specific reasons, personal reasons. And then we decide to come to you to give us an extension of time so we can appeal it to the city council.
So we can't reply directly back because it's a non-agendized item, and we typically can't respond during these types of things. However, it was brought up in a previous council meeting where it was asked whether or not there was an interest in us.
Isn't it on the December agenda?
Yeah, I think it is going to be on the December agenda. That's what we had talked about. So
Yep, that is correct.
yeah. So we'll bring it back and talk about it then. When we do have it agendized, then we can have an open dialogue and kind of go back and forth.
Well, the reason I requested, because when I submit the appeal or you guys discuss it, I have to pay the fees and all that for the appeal.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're not even quite sure where that's going to go, but it was brought up actually. Councilmember Popescu brought it up, and I think there was a general agreement that we would be interested in talking about it, but we have to agendize it first before we're legally permitted to talk about it in that regard.
Okay.
And so that will happen in December.
All right. Thank
you,
you,
sir. But thank you. I know you submitted a letter here to all of us, so that's good information. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we're going to move on to our regular agendized items. Beginning in section 3, which are public hearing items. We have a public hearing on Council Bill O2025-06.
Mr. Mayor?
Building codes, yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. We actually have a presentation, 2A.
Oh, you know what? I totally skipped over it, didn't I? Yep. Sorry about that. Okay, back to section 2. 2A, we have a check oh, this is always good. We're going to get money. All right. Okay, Mr. City Manager, who's quarterbacking this one?
The check is Tom. I'd like to bring Tom up here, please, my fire marshal. He applied for the grant, and we received a grant for a community wildfire protection plan. You want to do the background, please?
Sure. A few months ago, I was given an opportunity to apply for a grant. I was notified by one of our employees on the operations side who got word through the community garden about applying for a grant for a community wildfire protection plan. We applied for it. We were successful. I think we brought it to council about applying for this grant. It came in great time when we were adopting the maps and getting people, with insurance rate. It couldn't come at a better time. So I'd like to welcome up the folks from, it's IERCD, who we applied for the grant, to kind of give some background about their organization, what they do, and and I can follow up on kind of what the community wildfire protection plan will do for the community. Oh, they are? Oh, okay. Well, then I guess there's another presentation for the community garden as well. So if they want to do that one, then we can do the photos at the end. Does that work? Okay.
Yeah, the photos.
Want to do the photo now, or you want to do it at the end?
No, she said the photo. I think it would make sense if we do the photos back to back.
Okay.
I can do the presentation and then we'll do both photos.
Yeah, that's okay.
Did a fine job. As they're setting up, we've actually had some pretty good luck lately with grant applications, which has not really been the history that I remember. And so kudos to everybody that's been working on this stuff.
Again, if you have any,
pop up.
well, I have this because
Okay.
we're starting with this. And if you have any trouble, I do have the other if you'd like me to put that up.
Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for having us. We have a garden grant that we're going to talk about right now. So this is a grant that I wrote for our community, and it's Loma Linda's Intergenerational Garden Program. And IRCD was able to help us fund this program, and we'll share a little bit more. So we're just going to do some introductions, do a quick little snapshot about what the grant is and what we're doing with the funds, and then do some acknowledgements.
Do you want me to put it up?
I clicked it, but it didn't.
Let me try it. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Let me help you. I can do this.
Are you controlling it or am I?
I'm controlling it, so you can use the clicker.
Okay, great. All right. And if you want to click through.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucia Ceja, and I'm the Sustainable Agriculture Specialist for the IRCD, Inland Empire Resource Conservation District. And who we are, and at the IRCD is a local government agency serving 1,300 square miles within San Bernardino and Riverside County, with over 2 million residents. We are governed by 7 members appointed board of the directors, and we have the honor to have one with us, Jim Anderson. So he supports our programs too. We are created to fully focus on conservation within a region with programs including habitat restoration, sustainable agriculture, forestry, fire prevention, and education and outreach. Thank you. Our department, the Sustainable Agriculture Department, on overview, our programs seek to build healthier soils, strengthen agricultural businesses while conserving natural resources, support spaces for gardening, and increasing public awareness of the importance of prioritizing and preserving sustainable agriculture. We provide technical assistance. We provide farmer support. With farmer support, we provide soil testing, conservation planning, application assistance to programs to federal governments so the farmers can have access to. We provide community garden support, and I have the pleasure to work with Amy, that she's been amazing and applying with us as well. We offer free consultations, site developments, irrigation system planning, workshops, coordination. We offer as well education and outreach in partnership with the UCCE, Master Gardeners, Master Food Preservers, and UCNR. IRCD provides free educational workshop and demonstrations as well. We have our annual Farmer Appreciation Day celebration that we hope we can see you there one day. We have it at Chino usually, because that's where local farmers are and most of the farmers are. We offer grant opportunities programs too. We have the IRCD. We have received funding from CDFA, NACD, and NRCS to support commercial agriculture sites, community gardens, schools, and universities with programs that address extreme weather relief funding. Right now in these programs, we are offering up to $20,000 to farmers that are struggling with extreme weather. We have urban agriculture project development and capacity building. We have resources, accessibility, and garden planning site development. And we offer technical support on whichever needs the farmers have. And yeah, and I pass it down to our forestry department. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Melanie Garcia. I'm the forestry programs lead at Inland Empire RCD. Like Tom mentioned, we also awarded a forestry-related wildfire grant to you all. So I'm going to provide just an overview of what our department does. We're adjacent to, but a little different than the Sustainable Ag department that Lucy was just discussing. And then I'll give a quick overview of the grant that we awarded the city. So first, the work that the forestry department does kind of falls into 3 buckets. We receive funding and kind of facilitate distributing that throughout the region. So the areas that we focus on are the San Bernardino Mountains and adjacent Inland Empire communities, including Loma Linda. And then we also do outreach and education, and we provide technical assistance to both public and private landowners. So first, for funding, we facilitate a regional block grant called the Forest and Fire Capacity Program. This is a program administered by the state, and they identify regional block grantees all throughout the state to then administer funding locally and make decisions about where we think that should go for forest health and wildfire resilience projects. The main types of activities that we fund, or just a few examples, are capacity building to increase our region's ability to do forest health and fire resilience work. We also support project planning and environmental review like CEQA and NEPA. We do workforce development to help increase the local workforce available to do this type of work. We also support groups at the community level, for example, fire safe councils, to empower them to do this work themselves in their own communities. We also receive funding that's really focused on providing our staff to support our federal partner called the National Resource Conservation Service, or NRCS. We provide outreach support, so we do outreach to private landowners and help direct them to NRCS programs to get financial support from the federal government. Second, we also do outreach, so this includes our staff attending events and just directly connecting with community members to give them information on forestry and wildfire resilience topics. We also provide education, training, and career development opportunities to universities, agencies, cities, nonprofits, and anyone that's interested in our area. Lastly, we provide technical and landowner assistance, so this includes providing our staff that have the knowledge and expertise to support surveys, planning restoration projects, doing monitoring, and more. Pretty much anything that we're able to support, we do. We recently launched something called the Home Assessment Program. So this is where our staff can go out to private residences and evaluate homes to determine their resistance to wildfire, essentially. And we can provide recommendations to homeowners or residents directly about ways that they can make their home and their property as a whole more fire resilient. And then lastly, we also help manage something called gold-spotted oak borer. This is an invasive pest that can really decimate local oak populations and has spread throughout Southern California. And our staff goes out and does surveys on both Forest Service, federal land, and private properties, and then can provide recommendations for how to manage that and help mitigate the spread of them.
I got a question.
Yeah.
So I was doing a little research on your website. So you are a special district.
Yeah, we're a special district.
So I'm a board member on LAFCO.
Oh, okay, awesome.
So I was just kind of curious how that works. So are you governed by both Riverside and San Bernardino County LAFCO? Is that how this district was put together? It's kind of because it's odd. It covers 2 counties.
Yeah, it is odd. We're primarily San Bernardino County, but a portion of it is Riverside County, so we are governed by both. The majority of our forestry work occurs in the San Bernardino Mountains, so it's mostly I interact with San Bernardino LAFCO, yeah. Okay. But both do have a say.
I was just kind of curious about, have we done a service review in a while?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I could check on it though.
All right.
And then,
yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim.
I'm Jim Earsom. I'm a director on the IERCD, which is Inland Empire Resource Conservation District. And we cover both because we conglomerated when there were separate districts. And we get tax money from San Bernardino County, but none from Riverside. Riverside LAFCO was doing a service check on us, but we told them we don't get any tax money from them, but they still wanted to do it. So anyway.
That's a weird LAFCO thing, you know. Anyway, but okay, awesome. I see your picture here. I was reading about you, so glad you're here. Thank you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain why your district excludes Colton and Grand Terrace?
Riverside Corona Resource Conservation District, their boundaries came into San Bernardino County. So originally we were kind of a watershed-based boundary type thing. And then over the years, the consolidation and stuff, they switched them. But
Yeah, Grand Terrace, which is San Bernardino County, is covered by Riverside Corona. Now, I think Colton is in our district.
Looks like
Well,
it on your
Yeah,
map.
yeah.
It looks like it cuts Colton up, but it's hard to tell.
No, I think we have Colton.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would like
And
to
we're,
add one.
we're geeking out on the government part of this, and like we're missing the whole point. So,
Prolong your meeting.
yeah, we should.
I would like to add one more thing, that Jim is on our Park and Beautification Committee members.
Oh, thank you.
One more thing, our office is served by the city of Loma Linda, but the mail comes from the post office in Redlands, so
address.
it's kind of confusing.
Would you guys happen to have any other grants that we could apply for if we want to like beautify, say, Redlands Boulevard or do something with the landscaping anywhere in there?
Nothing like putting our hand out after you already just gave us money.
Right. We have the tree, like the shade tree that
Yeah.
we used to have,
Yeah.
like in the past 2 years. It's not here yet, but like every year we have new opportunities. So
Okay.
it may be an opportunity for that, like beautifying, like make it green and shady.
Yeah, something.
And we had that in the past 2 years that we donate like hundreds of shade trees even to the community members.
Okay.
So we go to parks, so we're like community centers, and they come and get their shade tree, and we help them to plant it, to take care of that, and do like kind of provide technical assistance for that.
Do you guys go and look and see and can give ideas? Like if you come out and
Yeah, we can. That would be like if we have.
If we
you guys
invite-
have any
Do
ideas?
you mind speaking into the microphone, please?
Yeah, sorry. If you guys have it, okay, I know, because if you guys are interested on any like sustainable agriculture that we can provide support,
yes,
we'll be so happy to help you, because we are doing we are providing support to our farmers in Yucaipa, Redlands, San Bernardino, Riverside, Chino, Ontario. We're really making a difference with helping and supporting farmers with not only with our money, but with money of other organizations can bring to us, so we can give it. And this time we have, for this grant, we have $3 million that we are helping to give to the farmer support. And for the grant that Amy applied, it was $700,000.
Wow.
And she got $27,000 on this. So it's the opportunity to work together and make it beautiful.
Yeah.
But if you have any
Thank
opportunity,
you.
please let us know. We'll be happy to help.
Yeah.
Yes, you came to our community room and have classes over here before.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
that's so cool. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to see.
And then quick.
After we derailed your
Okay.
presentation.
I can
sorry.
quickly just talk about the forestry grant that we awarded, the wildfire grant that we awarded that Tom mentioned earlier. Like he said, they applied to our forestry and fire community capacity subgrant program, and Loma Linda is one of 7 grant recipients for that. The city is receiving $75,000 to prepare what's called the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. These plans really, they assess communities or cities as a whole and determine the best pathway forward to increase their fire resilience. And so this, I think, will be a really great guiding tool in the city's approach to reduce your wildfire risk as well as enhance community resilience. And I know the city has worked with IERCD before, but I think this is our first time working together in the wildfire realm. So I'm really excited to start that and continue our partnership, and open to any ideas moving forward. And really quick, Jim, thanks for coming up and answering some questions. Just wanted to say thank you to you and our board for always supporting our staff and allowing us to do work like this, support others.
That's it. And it was $27,000 for the community garden?
But we're gonna have a presentation on that. That was just like the precursor.
Oh, okay. So we're still
So
not
then you
there.
know what we're doing.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna kind of zoom through some of these slides, but if you have a question, feel free to stop me. All right, so I applied with Growing Hope Project to fund this grant because it's a little bit outside the scope of the community garden, for what the community garden offers, because this is more of a programmatic intervention. And Cheryl unfortunately couldn't be here tonight because she's homesick with, or her kids are sick, but she also lives in Loma Linda. And Jane is here representing Cheryl, and Jane was part of Growing Hope. And look them up online. They do really, really amazing programming. And then about me, I think some people are familiar with me, but my name is Amy Jones. I have a different hat on today. My normal hat is the Community Garden Coordinator hat, but this I'm just coming as a community member. And part of my inspiration for writing this grant was my family. You see my favorite people who are my inspiration, which are my grandparents. And my grandpa was a World War II vet too. He flew planes. And they're smiling so big. Does anyone know why they're smiling so big?
It just came from the garden.
No, I just got off a plane and I was visiting them, so they're looking at me. And then that little girl is my niece, who is so, so fun. I brought her to the garden one day. I said, hey, let's plant some seeds and pull some radishes. And then she and her parents went back home to Ohio, and now they have a garden. So it's as easy as that, of sparking a little bit of curiosity and interest with a kid, and now they're growing their own food, which I think is amazing. All right, so this is our program snapshot. These are some of the kids who've been to the garden. They're super cute. And what we're mostly doing through this program is we are doing some infrastructure and some actual gardening, but a lot of it is with the free garden classes that we're offering to our community. So Jane helped me come up with this list of classes, and I have to say that we did kill it with our class because we got 400 contacts off of this flyer, which I was blown away by. Another city also reached out to me saying, can you come over here and do some classes with our city? So I don't know what it was about this list, but it was a hit. All right, here's some fun pictures of things that we've done. We do a lot with flowers because we know I love flowers. And what I'm also doing with this grant is we got about $27,000, but on the back end, I'm going to the places where we're buying stuff and I say, hey, we're working with kids, we're working with seniors, we're working with families, and the firefighters help us. And they just look at me and they're like, you checked every box, of course we're gonna help you. So they're basically giving me wholesale prices for all the materials that we have to buy, or they're just donating things to us. And Mina on the bottom, she is also one of our supporters. She is a professional florist who deals with sustainable and organic, locally grown flowers. And she'll come and do classes with us. She teaches us on the side. I really appreciate her so, so much. And I forgot, but one thing because you're probably like, Amy, why do you love gardening so much? And so I brought a demonstration because I always like to have a little demo. So I brought a leaf.
Usually you bring stuff for us.
I know, but next time you'll have to come to the garden maybe with some gloves on. So I brought this leaf, right? Does anybody know what this leaf is from?
Rosemary. It looks like rosemary.
A plant or a tree?
Rosemary.
It's from an indigo plant that I got in Japan. So Jane and I recently went to Japan and we went to an indigo farm. And would you believe it? This is why gardening and plants are so cool. That this bag was dyed with the leaves of that plant. It's so beautiful. Because, you think about where do jeans come from, like why are jeans blue? It's from plants, indigo originally. Now we're into synthetics, but when we think about natural dyes, how did we start? How are we here? What is the process? Not just like farm to table, but what about like farm to closet and farm to art, and kind of getting back to our roots and getting away from like some of the bad stuff that we're now exposed to. So that's part of the reason why I love gardening and plants. But I know we're in Loma Linda, so we have to talk about our social determinants of health. So why did IERCD decide to give us funding? And we had to qualify as a community to have a certain income level. And then, so what I'm focusing on is economic stability, neighborhood and built environment, and social and community context. And these are our target populations. So when I was looking at this grant, I was like, what should I focus on? Like, what would be really important for our specific Loma Linda community? And a senior had told me that she recently went unhoused because rent went up, 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 up. She was in a car accident, fixed income, reached out to everyone, had a social worker involved, and there is no help for her. So what do? Do I eat or do I live? So I was really interested in some of the stories that I had started hearing about our seniors on fixed income and how the prices have gone sky high and how do they survive in our community. So with some research, you probably can't read it, but that's where I found the statistics, that between 2012 and 2022, there was a 24% decrease in senior citizen income, which is an interesting number that I'd like to learn a little bit more about. And then you also see that there is a pretty significant increase in the consumer price index. And I work at the School of Medicine, so I asked them, I said, hey, do we have a statistic on how many of our students are food insecure? And they said about 21%. So we obviously have some work to do to help protect our vulnerable populations. And how are we gonna do that? So we came up with some community goals, which is increase access to nutritious foods, community strengthening, and environmental stewardship. And this is one of my favorite photos because if you look in the back, there's a man sitting down, and I invite him to everything to volunteer. And he told me his story and like what's going on in his personal life. And I was so touched and moved by that I was like, I need to invite him to our events. And he just sits there and he has the biggest smile on his face. And he is so happy to have a community around him. So our program plan or our deliverables will be, we'll do interactive learning. We're going to increase exposure to nature. And we're also going to do food shares. And then, of course, I'm not doing this alone, even if I'm the only one up here. Nobody wanted to join me tonight, but that's okay. I made a couple offers. They all said no, thank you. They'll be here on the back end. So, of course, IERCD for, granting us the funds. I've been working with Lucy for, 5 years? Yeah, she and I know each other well. We bond over flowers. I think I owe her some cuttings. And then Growing Hope Project with Cheryl Anderson, and then local organizations, from Lowe's to Tractor Supply to Walmart to community members to the Loma Firefighters Association. We have so much help and support that it's really quite amazing. And it definitely makes it a little bit easier to volunteer to run a grant too. And then we also have a lot of community members who are helping. A lot of them are here today. Jane is my right hand. I always say she's the expert. I say, Jane, what do I gotta do? And then she tells me. And Erin volunteers a lot. And I also would like to give a special recognition to someone who helped me actually fill out the grant paperwork, because I had just had surgery and the grant was due, and I was like, I need a little bit of help. So, and he's here tonight. So Nate, come on up. So he helped me fill out the grant, and I really appreciate his assistance. So I got him a little plaque to say thank you, because, in my culture, honor and gratitude is really where we start our foundation. So I'm going to read what I wrote. I'll look at you since I'm giving it to you.
Should he stand up in front?
Yes.
Yes.
There we go. That way I can face him. Okay, here we go. In every community, there are those who shine, not only through their actions, but through their commitment to service. You are one of those remarkable individuals, continually going above and beyond to improve the lives of others and strengthen the community we call home. You fill in the gaps, create opportunities, and remind us that leadership is about lifting others up and inspiring them to do the same. More than the visible results of your efforts, it is the lives you have touched that speak most clearly to your character. Just as ripples spread outward when a pebble touches water, your acts of kindness and support shape our community, building a culture of togetherness that we can all aspire to follow. Thank you for inspiring us to be better, to do more, and to lift each other up. Yay, Nate!
These two work a lot behind the scenes and do a lot that we don't notice all the things we do. So City Council would like to give you guys this one's okay.
Thank you.
Good job.
And I have one more thing because we can't end without a super cute note. I have two young Garda members who also brought something for Nate.
Wow.
They're so cute. And yes, in case anyone's wondering, these flowers are from the garden. Huh? Well, you're going to be in the photos for the chat, so come back.
Hey, so I after the meeting, I don't know if you can stick around, but I got a project for you. You might be interested, and if your lovely assistant can join you, he might be able to be of some help too.
Me?
No, Nate.
Oh, Nate.
The project's for you. He's the lovely assistant.
Oh, okay. He is a very lovely assistant, the best assistant I've had, right? Right? All right, so I think we're gonna take some photos, but Rhonda?
This one's to thank Tom for because these guys go above and beyond to get the grant, so.
And we also have some certificates of recognition. So while people are coming up for the photo, we have a certificate of recognition for IERCD from Assemblyperson Garcia. Come on up, because you're going to be in the photos. And we also have one from Senator Rosalisa Ochoa Bo.
Oh, thank you.
And we also have ones for, that one's mine. Loma Linda Fire Department from Supervisor Baca. And keeps going. Loma Linda Fire Department from Assemblyperson Garcia. Who wants to hold it? We'll do one and then the other. You want to be in the photo, Erin? Erin's our social media expert. If anybody sees really great posts, it's her.
Hold on, one more.
All right, good job, you guys. Good job, Nate. I do, Amy, I do have an idea for you that if you guys got to take off, I'll talk to you at some point. Okay. Might be a couple hours. Now we gotta do the boring stuff. All right, we're going to move on to section number 3, which are public hearing items. This has to do with our California Building Code amendments. Super exciting stuff, folks. Tom, I'm guessing you might present this. Oh, Patrick's going to do it.
Yeah, Patrick Johnson, he's our building official from Wildan. So Patrick.
That was pretty impressive. I always wondered, those big checks, back in the day, do they have to take them to the bank and get them cashed? Or
It's really hard to get
deposit
him into
them?
the ATM machine.
Yeah.
You got to push hard.
But yeah. Anyways, I just want to start off by saying thank you, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and staff. My name is Patrick Johnson, the Acting Building Official for the City of Loma Linda. I have the pleasure of being here tonight to present the first reading of the 2025 code adoption for the California Building Codes as they pertain to the Building and Safety Division. Every 3 years, each jurisdiction in the state of California is mandated to adopt the California Building Codes and make amendments that are reasonably necessary because of local climate, geological, and topographical conditions. Modifications must be filed with the California Building Standards Commission in order to become legally effective by January 1st, 2026. In adopting the 2025 California Building Codes, we must amend certain sections of the Loma Linda Municipal Code to reflect the changes that have occurred within the new codes. All of the changes that are occurring are editorial. Climate and geographical requirements that are specific to the City of Loma Linda are not changing from the previous code cycle. Chapter 7A of the California Building Code and Section R337 of the California Residential Code are being replaced with the California Wildland Urban Interface Code, which still regulates structures constructed in high fire hazard areas as identified in the fire overlay maps set forth by the California State Fire Marshal. It is recommended that we waive the first reading of the adoption of the California Building Codes with amendments and a second reading to occur at the City Council meeting on December 9th, 2025. Any questions?
Well, this is a public hearing. Do you have questions, Ron, or should we open the public hearing? Were you going to move it?
No, I'm not ready to move it.
Okay.
So.
Let's open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please run forward. Scott, this might be your opportunity. No? Okay. Seeing nobody coming forward, we'll close the public hearing and then we can debate here on the dais. Yes, sir.
Are the changes entirely technical, or is there something juicy, politically juicy?
Forget the political. Juicy.
There's nothing juicy about this. It's building codes. If you put them all together, they're like this on paper in binders. There's quite a bit of building codes. We are adding an additional building code. That's the California Wildlife Interface Code. Essentially what that's doing, though, it's taking sections of previous codes and coming up with the same code. In the past 3 years or so, we've seen a lot of EV charging stations. In fact, there's been a lot of EV fires. People are charging their things in their house and stuff like that. So there's probably more things out there now for the EV charging. Not so much for the residential, but more on the commercial side of things. Essentially, if you have an EV like a plant that's next door to another plant, that with the rated walls and stuff like that between the two. But nothing that's going to affect the city here.
My colleague is much more articulate than I am. I hadn't thought of juicy, but I think that kind of covers it. But what most of the development in our community is residential. And if I'm understanding you correctly, this doesn't really significantly impact that.
No. I believe there may be some changes to, you can have like a type 3 structure, so many stories before you then go heavy timber construction. There's a lot more stuff about heavy timber construction in the newer codes.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd take place down there, kind of the Barton Road, the new development that's taken on down there. Barton and Anderson right there. So similar to that.
All right. Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
From your lips to God's ears. I'm not sure I fully understand all the implications of this, but I'll take your word for it.
It's just a process every 3 years.
Okay.
All right. I'll take that as a motion.
I'll move it.
Informally. Yes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Dr. Rigsby. Madam Clerk, I'm not sure if Council Member Popescu is still with us or not, because I know he had a limited time.
I am.
Okay, cool. All right, so roll call vote then, please.
Okay. Motion is to introduce on first reading Council Bill O-2025-06 as recommended, waiving the reading of the ordinance in its entirety and read by title only and set the second reading to December 9th, 2025, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda, State of California, amending chapters 15.08 of the City of Loma Linda Municipal Code pertaining to buildings and construction by adopting the 2025 California Building Code, including the 2025 California Building Code Volumes 1 and 2, 2025 California Existing Building Code, 2025 California Historical Code, 2025 an Energy Code, 2025 Administrative Code, 2025 California Reference Standard Code, 2025 California Residential Code, the 2025 California Green Building Standard Code, the 2025 California Electrical Code, 2025 California Plumbing Code, 2025 Mechanical Code, and the 2024 International Property Maintenance Code.
After all that, I'm not sure I want to move it, but
1997 Uniform Code for Abatement of Dangerous Buildings. I will take your vote by roll call. Councilmember Spencer?
Approve.
Councilmember Popescu?
Yes.
Councilmember Rigsby?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daly?
support.
Mayor Duper?
Yes, ma'am.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to 3B, which is also a public hearing on a resolution approving the City of Loma Linda fee study, an update establishing new and revised fees for city services.
Thank you,
Also, I was going to say this also includes an urgency resolution authorizing the fees to take immediately upon adoption. If you could explain that too.
Yes. So every 3 years, thank you, Mr. Mayor, every 3 years, we do a fee study update. And it was done by revenue cost specialists. And Mr. Eric Johnson and his partner have been doing this for us for, I don't know how many years now, 20? So, wow. So I will ask Lorena to give the reason why this is the urgency, so.
Well, I'm sure we could wait for his presentation, I can say now, but urgency because we have a lot of major projects coming in the next few weeks before the new building code goes into effect. So we want to tap into those fees right now. And also in addition, we've been having a lot of inquiries in new uses because of state mandates such as street vendor permits, temporary use permits. We don't actually have those fees in place, so we'd like to establish those fees so we can start charging accordingly.
I've got a comment. Hats off to you. I got this afternoon. Okay, that's partly my problem. I didn't get it as soon as it was available. But when I hear urgency and then I get this kind of a document that there's no way I can get through, that's frustrating. So please explain the urgency, because if it was urgent, why didn't we see it 6 months ago instead of tonight?
Be happy to. First off, let me just walk through the process, what we did, and hopefully that'll answer some of your questions, and we can definitely get into why we're here tonight. I'm Eric Johnson from Revenue and Cost Specialist. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, it's good to be here to present this cost of services study, fee study update to you tonight. Before we get into that, just a little background on RCS and myself. We've been doing this since 1980. We've actually been working with the city of Loma Linda since the 1990s. I have personally. So it's good to be back here again, frankly. We're a small company. I'm a partner. I'm the president of the company. Our partners are the ones that do the work. And this is what we do. I've been doing this for 35 years, since 1990. Worked in over 150 different agencies in that time, and so good to be here. So what have we done? Well, we've really taken the city budget and turned it into what it would look like if it were a business. And we did this because the voters told us to. Back when Proposition 4 passed in 1979, a year after Proposition 13, we all remember Proposition 13 limited property taxes. Proposition 4, amongst other things, allowed cities to charge the cost reasonably borne of providing services, and those are not considered taxes. They reaffirmed this in Prop 218, put some limits on that, reaffirmed it again in 2010 with Prop 26. So basically, we need to know what it costs to provide services to your customers, just like a business does. Governmental accounting does a great job of identifying what does it cost to provide, what does it cost to of various different departments. What do various different departments cost? But it doesn't do a very good job of identifying what it costs to provide services to your customers. So we had to go through that process to update these numbers that we had worked on before to fully allocate those costs to the end user customer. So it's like when you go to the store and you buy a can of corn. You know when you buy that can of corn that it includes the cost of the farmer, the cost of the distribution, the cost of the grocery store, the cost of the checker in front of you. We've done that same thing here. So when we identify what's the cost of a planner or a building inspector, it has the salaries, the benefits, the operating expenses, citywide overheads, departmental overheads, just like a business would do. That's really what we've done as part of this process. And we also matched up revenues to those costs to make sure that those costs are recovering, those revenues are recovering those costs. This has been a thorough process. We looked at all the services that the city is providing. We wanted to look at all the fee services they're providing specifically. We wanted to update the current fees. We wanted to make changes to reflect what the city is doing today as far as how they're providing the service, what services they're providing. So we removed some services, we added some services. We want to make sure they're legally defensible. They do not exceed the cost reasonably borne. That's the important constitutional test. In some cases, we want to take a look at the revenue collection, and in some cases, the fees are more market-based, and we want to take those into account. Oh, that doesn't look very good. I guess that's not working well. So basically, if you were able to read this, what we did is we went through and we identified what are the services being provided, who's providing them, how much time is being spent, how many of these are you doing? And so we sat down with departmental staff and had these meetings to update that information, and really want to thank departmental staff for all their help with this, because obviously we could not have done it without them. Went back and forth to make sure that we're capturing any changes to the processes, making sure that what we're showing today reflects where staff is spending their time today on these various different services. A little bit better. We went through all the various different services. We allocate out 100% of staff time, regardless of what they're spending their time on, whether it is providing support to other parts of the organization, overhead services, whether they're providing services to the community, whether it be fee supported or not fee supported. We then match that up with a fully allocated hourly rate for every position. So their current salaries, the fringe benefits they're receiving, the general operating expenses within each department. We calculated a citywide overhead that includes costs of city council and city manager and finance and HR. We identified departmental overhead to the extent it made sense. So for every position, a fully allocated hourly rate. We matched that up with the No, this is actual data. This is actual data that's...
You meet with staff and get the staff time that's actually used.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. The time comes from meetings with staff, because frankly, that information doesn't exist anyplace else than the people that are doing it. And we don't really look at surveys because every city does things differently. Processes are different. Even services being provided are different, even within planning, as different agencies have different zoning codes. So we match that time detail up with that fully allocated hourly rate, and now we know what the cost of providing the service is. We then sit down with staff again and we say, here's your current fee, here's the updated cost, and here's the proposed fee to, in most cases, recover 100% of those costs. And those are these proposed fees that you see before you tonight. So it came from working with staff to determine what's the time being spent, working with actual city documents, actual salaries, actual fringe benefits, working off the current city budget for general expenses to come up with the cost for these services. Which takes us here. Oh, none of this is working. Takes us here tonight to be able to present this information to you and ask which services, in essence, you want to subsidize. Because when it comes down to it, there are community-supported services that taxes pay for, things like fire and streets and parks that benefit the community as a whole. And then there's personal choice services, which are measurable. You can charge a fee for it. And most importantly, it benefits specific groups or individuals within the community and not the broader community as a whole, such as planning fees and building fees. So another way to look at this, and I'm kind of a picture guy, is taxes and grants are there to support community-supported services. Fees are there to support what we call personal choice services. And to the extent that the fee does not cover the cost of providing the service, the difference has to be made up with taxes. There's the services being provided, the costs are occurring. The question now is who's going to pay for it. We identified about $9 million in subsidy. Huge number for personal choice services. But if we look at the detail a little bit, most of that $9 million is coming from public safety, and most of that is coming from medical response services, medical aid services that have fees associated with them, but they're never going to come anywhere close to recovering the cost, and we're not proposing that they do. So it looks like a large subsidy. It is a large subsidy, but it's also a subsidy that fees are not going to close the gap on, and we're not proposing that fees close the gap.
Can you define community development for me? Because that's the biggest line item.
Absolutely. And so that would be planning, building, engineering, those things that are development, construction related services.
Fees for the plan checks, staff time to do inspections, all that kind of stuff.
Conditional use permits. There's also fire prevention related development fees. Anything when you're building something, fire, building, planning, engineering fees related to that. So just walking through that multi-100-page report, there's a summary schedule at the beginning that breaks out all the different personal choice services, fee services, services you either are or could be charging a fee for. Identifies what's the total fee revenue currently with the current fees. What's the total cost that we calculated through this process, and then the subsidy, and in some cases the profit. In those cases, we'll recommend lowering a fee because you cannot make a profit. You can't charge more than the cost. And so in those cases, we recommend those fees will be lowered. You will have to lower them. After that, there's an Appendix A that shows for every service in one place, what's the current fee, what's the proposed fee. For each one of these services, there's an Appendix B, which is the bulk of the report. So all these services have these two matching pages. On the left-hand side, a description of the service, what's the current fee, what's the proposed fee. On the right-hand side, that cost detail. So you'll be able to see all the time that we identified, all the staff that's spending time, how much time they're spending, what does that turn into a cost, both on a per unit basis and total or annual basis. And so all that detail is in the bulk of the report. Then at the end, we're recommending some changes to parking and code fines. These are not cost-based. They are meant to encourage good behavior in essence. So we want to set them at a level that will encourage the behavior that we want. In other words, don't park in a place we don't want you to park, or park in a way we don't want you to park. So in most cases, we're recommending that most of the parking fees go from $40 to $55. There are a couple other code changes, like building and construction, fire code penalty, going from 100 to 130, et cetera. But most of the changes are going to be the parking fees going from 40 to 55.
Last time we looked at this, I remember us talking about parking fees specifically, and we talked about trying to be somewhere in the middle of our surrounding neighbors, or we kind of median still?
Yeah, and so we did a survey to determine what your neighbors were charging, and we were a little bit on the low side, but pretty close to that middle of the bell curve, but a little on the lower side. Because, yeah, that's kind of helps you determine what is, in essence, the market orientation of this.
And the mayor asked an important question because these are the issues that we're going to hear about from constituents.
Yep.
So I'm not willing to just blow through this because I couldn't get through this report.
Understand. And so this was a process that we started in the summer. This is a process that does take a while to go through because it's that back and forth with staff. We need to make sure that everyone feels comfortable with that time detail, that we have the good calculations behind it. That's our job. And then making sure that as we're reviewing this with staff, that they have a chance to think about it and make sure that what we're proposing from their standpoint will work at the counter everyday basis. At the end of the day, though, it's up to you as the council to decide which fees should pay the full cost that we're identifying and which fees should be subsidized with taxes. Because there may be things in here that this is important enough to subsidize.
Sorry, was that? Okay, good questions. So I did have a question earlier. Actually, I think it was when Emily, right, got up to talk, and you were, I believe you were talking about the bike path. No, I'm sorry. I take it back. I apologize. Maybe it was Capri that was talking about the
She's
parking.
already left. She already left.
About the parking, though, in front of her house. Yeah. And so it got me thinking because I believe we are contracting now with Wildan for that, correct? Or no, are we still doing our own in-house
No,
parking?
the parking patrol is still us.
Okay.
Yes. And the
Okay.
sheriff, of course.
Okay. Just, again, it's important to look at this stuff occasionally because we need to make sure we actually have teeth and we're doing some of that enforcement. But I was curious as to whether or not, I know we were doing code enforcement contracted out, and whether or not that incorporates the fees now that we're having to cover for that contract.
Yes.
So we're up to speed on that.
Yes. That's why Tom spent a lot of time looking at this fee and how much time we spend on it. Yes.
Thanks.
Could you
I'm sorry,
back up-
Emily.
Back up one slide.
This one or the parking fines one?
Another one. Okay, that's the one.
They actually, honestly, to me, they still look a little bit low, but as long as we never try to be the highest, we never try to be the lowest, so.
Let me answer Dr. Davis' question. You know, we do this every 3 years.
Mhm.
And because we try to be not too low and not too high, try to be within the market. And if we waited too long, then the cost will keep on going up. Instead of increasing 2%, we end up increasing 5 or 10%, just like the water or sewer. That's why we keep doing it incrementally every 3 years. And another thing is, sir, because I'm aware of people that live here in town, development here in town, and people want to come here, I want to make sure that they willing to pay the development impact fee, the permit fee.
Yeah.
So that, yes, I
that makes
have to
sense.
keep that in mind, so.
And obviously with our budget challenges, we got to make sure that we're accounting for.
Yes, and the cost, operating costs just keep on going up and up.
Are there other fees that are collected that our city doesn't collect? Like that you can think of that would be, like we're missing the boat?
Not really. That's part of this process as we go through and we talk to staff. I'll bring in some fees I've seen in other places, especially some newer fees that may come out of state legislation. And so feel pretty confident after talking with staff that there are not fees out there that you're missing the boat on.
Just because one of them, though it's not, this is just what I've seen in others, was the empty storefront. So if you're like an empty storefront for 10 years, there's a fee that you pay. That landowner, it's like things like that. Like I'm just, because our budget is so bad on kind of things. So that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I have seen that in other cities that have had a lot of vacant businesses. That didn't come up as an issue here. And it's something that even if there were, it would be a relatively smaller item as far as the fee and the total revenue collected.
Okay, but it's an important question because we've got Stater Brothers.
There's 7
and
buildings
they've got all
empty.
kinds
Yeah.
of empty space there.
And the ABC, I think, has been out for 10 years.
What's that?
You know the ABC bookstore?
Oh, well, yeah, that's
Empty.
ABC, but you look along.
I think they have 7 empties.
Yeah.
And so then it'll come down to what does the code require, the local municipal code require? What is staff doing? Because sometimes there will be inspections to make sure that the properties are safe and secure. And so that was one that didn't come up as part of our discussions.
But it wasn't my question, but I'm doing a follow-up. I know of business owners, and down Barton Road, Stater Brothers, there's all kinds of empty spots in that mall. And I've heard from multiple people that have moved out that said the owner's just impossible to deal with. And we've talked about that in the past, but what's the disincentive? Because if he owns this, he inherited this, and he doesn't seem to understand there's a disincentive for the city that he has so many empty spots in a major mall in our area. Does any of that factor in here? And that's the question I think you're asking.
Yeah.
The problem is we don't have a municipal code that covers that, so we can't.
Well, then now's the time to talk about it.
Right, but we couldn't enact that at this moment.
Right, there'd have to be a process put in place by the code, and then we could identify what is that process and what does that process cost. At this point, we have not done
I'm not even worried about what the process costs. I'm worried about getting active businesses in those empty spots that have been there for a long time, and it's getting worse, not better.
Yeah.
So
That's a city issue.
Let's do this so we separate the two. Maybe we can ask Lorena to look into the possibility of that and bringing back some type of ordinance or at least a report for us to look at first, maybe, and then talk about an ordinance. But we obviously can't incorporate that into a fee study because it doesn't exist. So,
yeah,
I mean, and just for sake of time, because we're at 8:30, I think we need to either move with this or not move with this.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Good point. The parking boot issue, I mean, essentially doubling the cost of that. I will hear about this. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, that.
And everything else seems to be fairly balanced based on what we've been doing. Doubling the boot cost, I will hear about it. So I just want you to help me, coach me on how I address that.
I hate to throw in another 2 cents here, but I don't even know that we actually do that function in the city.
I've
So
never seen one.
I don't believe we actually do. I think we issue citations and we tow.
So when people get when people get booted around the university and the medical center.
But that may be the university that does that. I don't believe.
So that's
I don't
a fair
believe our
question.
city. I've never seen our city do that, but I don't know. I'm
No,
looking over.
That's fair.
I don't even think we have them.
The booting I hear about is at the
Yeah,
university.
Councilman Daly, I supervise that department, and our employee does not do booting of vehicles in the city. That would be a university.
So this is university security that does the booting.
Yeah, our staff does. I don't even think
I don't think we
they
own
have
any.
a boot. So
It's a pretty antiquated technology
okay.
now.
But again, to Eric's point, the reason we have these fees in there is in the future, if we decide we want to go through that, we don't have to pay for another fee study to get these fees done. City staff worked with Eric to kind of come up with all the hypotheticals we can think of that potentially city staff could do either currently or in the future. You guys brought up a great point about the the abandoned business. That's something that could be added at a future date. But we came up with everything that potentially, since we're using his time, let's get the fee done. If we want to do that function in the future, we don't have to go back and do a fee study. It's already scheduled out for us.
So we don't do any booting
Not us,
in
sir.
the city.
No, sir.
Oh, well, okay. Answers my question.
All right, so let's do this. Let's open the public comment. Anyone wishing to speak on this? Scott, you're leaning over. Milford? Milford wants to speak. Scott says Milford wants to speak on it. No?
Scott is not my spokesman.
He should be. He's a phenomenal spokesman. All right, we'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion if we want to move this. And Councilmember Popescu had to step away, so he had other business he had to handle.
Look at me.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
All right, Madam Clerk.
May I clarify? There's two resolutions. Are you making the motion on the first, or you adopt the two resolutions? Are you adopting both, or are you adopting just?
Always both.
Both. Thank you. Motions to adopt Council Bill R-2025-35, waiving the reading of the resolution in its entirety and reading by title only, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda, California, to adopt the fee study update report dated November 2025, establishing new and updated fees for city services and repealing resolution number 3170, and to adopt Council Bill R-2025-40, waiving the reading of the resolution in its entirety and reading by title only, an urgency resolution of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda, California, to adopt the fee study update report dated November 2025, establishing new and updated fees for city services and repealing resolution number 3171, and these fees shall become effective immediately. I will still do a roll call vote. Excuse me. Councilmember Spencer?
Support.
Councilmember Rixby?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daly?
Aye.
And Mayor Duper?
Yes.
And Councilmember Popescu did leave, so he's absent. So motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to Section 4, scheduled agenda items. 4A is support for submittal of a grant application for the installation of a splash pad at Citrus Trails Park.
Thank you.
Now, this particular thing I know has supporters and detractors. And I know our former mayor is a supporter. I know he's going to get up there and beat me up on it here in a minute. But do we have a presentation on it?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we request a request for putting the splash pad. Councilwoman Spencer is really pushed for it, and from a resident that want to see a splash pad here in our town. So the staff, John Trujillo and I, we did some research, sent out a request for proposal to look at consultant to see how much it costs to design and build a splash pad. So John have a summary of our research to present it to you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is John Trujillo. I'm the Public Works Superintendent. And tonight I'm presenting a project that could transform our park at Citrus Trails. And with the right grant, we could do it. So at the fraction of the cost. Citrus Trails Splash Pad. At our Citrus Trails Park, we have our playground section that's right here, and an open area of 5,000 square feet right here. So when we got direction to go send out an RFP, a request for proposal, I visited some other parks around the locations, Riverside, Colton, Moreno Valley, to see some of their splash pads. And they had some nice ones. And we also went over some of the designs from the architects that we got the RFPs from. They sent us 3 different phases, 3 different designs of the concepts. This pink area right here is one of the first designs, which consists of 2,500 square feet, not the exact 5,000 square feet that we asked for, a little bit smaller. As you see to the right, that is a required restroom and shower that California does require now when you have a splash pad. This is one of the designs from one of the design architects, 2,500 square feet. This is an elevation of the splash pad. It's really nice. It has the sprinklers, all the equipment. You see you have the bucket right here. As it fills up, it splashes down as well. One thing that's really cool about this design from one of the design teams is they followed our concept. I don't know if you guys remember about the themes for our parks. And they followed our concept for and theme for our idea for creating these themes in our park. And one of these ideas that they sent over was for our fire department, calling it the Little Heroes, which is really cool. This is the prefabricated restroom that we would also need in order to install a splash pad. It's 2 restrooms and 2 showers. Here comes the floor plan as well. Now, the purpose of this is basically the operations and maintenance, and this is the plan right here. I won't get too deep into it, but as far as some of the operations and the overview, like I said, when I visited some other splash pads, I talked to some other directors and superintendents, and this is kind of how their daily operations work. From 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. is the operation time, which the splash pad will operate off of a timer, basically kind of a sensor which we have at our parks, like a sprinkler system. The operating season is typically through May through September, dependent weather. When it's really hot, we could adjust that as well. Some other cities were adjusting that. The control system, you could have the option of activation by motion detection, or you could have the push button as well. The push button might be a better call for us. Now, this is super important right here, the water system. It will require a recirculating system, which will need filtration, disinfection, and chemical monitoring. Roles and responsibilities, that would be me, the Public Works Superintendent. I would see the daily operations with the staffings and the compliance. My park maintenance crew already goes out and does the routine inspection already. They clean the parks, they'll check the surface, the maintenance, the blowing, the graffiti removal as well. This here, we will need some additional staff. A water production crew to do the water testing, the system backwash, and chemical monitoring. After speaking to some of the other cities, they had a problem by hiring a pool cleaning service technician to do this work. But when they had issues with their splash pad, they couldn't get a hold of them. So it delayed the opening of the splash pads and caused a real big delay. So word of advice from others was to have a staff member, a certified staff member, to maintain the splash area. Off season during the winter time, we drain the system, we blow out the lines, we remove the sensors, we power down the pumps, and we secure the site. The records and reporting will all be submitted through our staff that is certified in the treatment operation field. Safety and compliance will all be following the code and regulations and making sure the environmental health requirements are all followed with the SDS sheets at the location for the splash pad. Going down the operations and maintenance costs. If you look at the labor operations and maintenance, daily inspections, cleaning, testing, water treatment chemicals, chlorine, utilities, power, pump, lighting, water use, all of that stuff. Total estimated annual cost would be $43,000.
Does your estimated annual cost include the employee?
That is our estimated
included.
cost.
Yeah, that includes it.
So it's a part-time employee?
It's seasonal.
Seasonal.
Because you can't include that. That's not even a part-time employee
No.
cost. Let's get real.
Mm-hmm.
That does not include. That's not even a.
That does. That actually, if you go on Indeed.com, so let's see here. For a seasonal pool tech, and it's $23 an hour, right? So it's $23 an hour pool maintenance, $24 an hour pool manager, $24. So if you're thinking that this splash pad is operated for 3 months or 4 months, it's not a full-time position. I estimate $10,000 to $15,000 a year for the seasonal worker. This was from AI, ChatGPT, right? but it's got the references. Yes, yes. So no, there's references, but that's about what the cost is, like 24 an hour.
Okay.
And my total estimate is slightly less than yours. It's like on the lower end, 21,000, and then goes up to about 43,000, depending on. So you're in, it's like the ballpark of annual.
What's our lowest paid part-time employee at this city?
Is right now it's about $52,000 a year, and that's just salary, $25 an hour. It's not even include the benefit and retirement.
That's a full-time employee.
Yes, but the problem is,
Do we have any part-time employees?
We have a student intern.
Contracts. You have contracts for grounds, don't you?
Yeah, but the contract actually costs more. So, and again, the reason we do this is the water treatment operator more likely would do this part-time for this park and then have to do full-time with the water division. So this is just a portion of the salary and benefit.
Is our current water treatment operator overworked?
We need more.
Yes.
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 Okay, so we're talking about we have to hire an additional person.
We would have to hire an additional person. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is the estimated cost that we put together. So for the extra engineering costs that we want to add $50,000 for something for different phases in the future where we could add some uplighting, extra lights, awnings, canopies, et cetera, to upgrade in the future. That would be that $50,000. The splash pad, it is a turnkey manufactured company that would give us the entire splash pad for that amount, $500,000. They would bring in the equipment, they do the install, the recirculating system, and then also the training for staff. Our shower that I showed you earlier in the slides, that is a prefabricated restroom, and they just deliver and they tie into our 2-inch 40 PSI water supply, and including with our electrical that we have, and that is $325,000. Total O&M with the maintenance, $43,000, and the grand total would be $918,000. That is just a rough estimate. So my next step is basically to ask for direction and the green light to go ahead and apply for these 2 grants that are available. One is the California State Park Grant, the SPP grant, that is going to be coming out in a couple more months. And the state appropriated $200 million for the parks. And there's a significant chunk that we could put in for a grant, and zero match, 100% if we get that grant. There is a number 2 grant that's coming out as well, and that's the Extreme Heat Community Resilience Grant, and that's also available for us. So with your direction, I would like to hit the ground running, get on this right now, and put in for the splash pad grants.
Those grants cover staffing?
No.
Let's talk about with the other cities. Did you guys share how many of the other cities around have, did you pull the data? Or I have the data, but I wanted to know if you guys have the data.
As far as the staff that was taking care of the splash pads? Or?
No, the surrounding cities.
Ah.
So for example, if we were to put in a splash pad, we're already behind the times. So Riverside City has 6 splash pads for kids. San Bernardino has 5. Corona, Claremont, Colton, Fontana, Rancho, Yucaipa. So it's not like we are, creating and blazing a new trail. We're actually getting on a trail that's, we're behind the times.
Right.
And in just 2 weeks, I mean, it's unfortunate the timing of this meeting because the moms who really support this can't come out to it. Kids are going to bed at 7, 8. So many of them you've already saw had to leave the meeting. But we collected surveys, and on here I have over 100 survey respondents of what the moms wanted. And I want to just read to you guys a few of them, of what they say. City splash pads provide a safe, zero-depth way for children of all abilities to play, explore, and build developmental skills without drowning, risks, or high costs of traditional pools. Okay? Families with young children need economical ways to get them outside when it's hot. I believe that our community needs more spaces for families. A splash pad would provide that. We have to travel outside of the area to get many of the family services that I believe our city should be providing. Another one. We just moved here, and the summers and spring and fall are so hot, and there's so little outdoor water areas. The Drayson Center is fun, but it's barely open through half of the summer. Another one says, having a splash pad would mean that myself and many other families don't have to travel outside of our own city to have some fun in the sun during those hot days. I personally do not like having to travel to Riverside or San Bernardino to use their splash pads. Another one says, my daughter doesn't know how to swim. She has sensory issues, but she loves to play in the water. She also has autism, and a splash pad would be perfect. Another one said, this would be such a great place for community gathering for young families and kids with disability. Another one says, the city and university could work together to create opportunities that emphasize the values of this. Another one says, a splash pad is more than just a play area. It's a community hub. Let's see, that's just the first 25. Our kids love splash pads, and we have to drive to Yucaipa, not too big, or Riverside Moreno Valley, and it gets difficult to go far. It'd be great to have one locally maintained by the city here. Another one says, making memories locally would be amazing. Another one says, I have 6 children ranging from 10 months to 14. A splash pad here in our home would be such a blessing that we definitely would go all the time. Another one here says, we have nothing to do in the summer.
You know what, not to
want to
cut
keep
you
going?
off, but
Okay,
think
we can
we
keep
get the
going.
point.
There's over 100 parents that responded to a survey to say their support, and they can't come here because of the timing.
So I would like to know how the survey was worded, because I would also like to throw out a survey to the neighbors that live around that park and get their feelings on the current problems. Problems we have with people from other cities that come in to use our park facilities. This city has more park space than most cities around. So I don't buy into that argument. People don't realize that, but we have more park space.
But
Number
we
two,
can't.
A majority of people that come to our parks don't live in this city. And I look at things from a safety perspective. My concern is we start opening up and we make it too attractive for people that come here, and our residents that may or may not use it once or twice, then all of a sudden we've increased our transient population. We've increased folks coming in from other cities that may be not the most desirable folks, and that brings other complications with it. And just to jump into this without looking at that or giving those neighborhoods the opportunity to weigh in, it doesn't matter which park. It would only be fair to involve those neighborhoods in any of our parks, no matter where in the city, to weigh in on this, because it's not just about, it's this great, beautiful thing for kids. I agree, it is. It looks like that on face value, but you got to think about.
Let me ask about the pickleball courts. Okay, the pickleball courts. Did we allow the city residents to weigh in around the community? And by the way, last weekend I went and surveyed, and you know where most of the people using the pickleball courts are from? It was Redlands, whoever said, it's not our city. But we can't deny our residents. And if we're going to have one standard for splash pads, then we need to apply that standard to all of the activities that we're doing. We can't just say, splash pad, you need a survey, and we got to survey the parents. If we didn't do that for the pickleball courts and the tennis courts and the playgrounds that we have, it's not consistent.
To some degree, you're making my argument for me.
It's not consistent.
But you're making the argument for me.
I am not making the argument for you. I'm saying you're applying different standards to different types of activities, and the ones that are for small children, you're biasing them.
Where did you get that? I'm
because
talking about
pickleball courts is like toddlers, and those are not playing at the pickleball courts. Even the timing of this meeting, where it's gearing towards 9 o'clock, parents with young children cannot. You saw them here; they had to leave. They have to go to bed, so they can't come to City Hall to advocate for this. So how do you want to see what that? I mean, to shut it down and say no, it doesn't give them a voice. It's not okay.
So again, you just said that most of the people that come in and use our pickleball courts come from other cities.
Which I didn't say the most. I said on the day. I didn't say the most. I said on the day that I went and surveyed, they were from Redlands. Does that mean that the majority of people? No, you would have to go and survey. But you cannot deny your own residents' activities because you're worried of other people coming from other cities.
I'm talking about our residents. I'm only beholden to our residents.
Yes.
Yes. And this sounds very mean, but I could care less about Redlands or Colton or San Bernardino. I care about the people that live here in town, and I look out for more things than just amenities. I want to look out for their safety and security, for traffic. All of those things that have posed challenges for us, including the transients, all the stuff that we get I mean, you want to talk about people showing up here that complain about people that hang out at our bus stops and all that other stuff. As soon as you threw up the picture of the bathroom there, I start thinking about transients in there bird bathing. I mean, now we're actually providing showers. How many times do those current bathrooms
Well, do they have that
at
at
park get
Ukaipa? Does the
broken into?
Ukaipa have a problem? No,
But
the
the prob-
Ukaipa
hold
doesn't
on,
have a
hold on,
problem.
hold on.
Hold
You know
on.
why?
The Ukaipa does not have, and you can't say
know
it's
why?
because the location, it's
It is
too
the
far
location.
for them to travel.
Ukaipa's
We
not
don't
next
have
to
the
San
same.
Bernardino.
We don't have the same San Bernardino homeless that San Bernardino has. We don't have that population here. And it's a stretch to say if you build a splash pad, you are enticing all of the homeless to come. I would say show me where Ukaipa and other cities like that had a problem. Why does Riverside have 6 splash pads?
Okay.
If it's such a problem, why do they have so many? I mean, why does Fontana, Colton, all of these cities around, if it's such a huge problem with, and I mean, show me the data. Show me.
Any other comments?
Yeah. When you talk data, you're talking my language. But we all know how you sample data has a huge, huge impact on what the outcomes are. And turn to the city manager. I don't know when it was last, but there was some years ago, we commissioned some people to do, to try to identify who was using parks in the city, particularly Holder Crooks Park. And we learned that vast majority were not from the city of Loma Linda. True? And I think we probably need to do something like that again so we know what we're talking about. But I don't have a problem with, my family and I have vacationed up in Sun River, Oregon, a number of different times. And we we use the parks up in Bend, Oregon. Nobody's checking to see if we're from Bend, Oregon or not. So that's just kind of occupational hazard in terms of what we're talking about. So I think we need to assume that there will be people from multiple communities that are using whatever it is, whatever facilities we have, including the ones we have in existence right now. And I'm all for it. I've got grandkids and they'd love to do a splash park, so I'm not against it. I do, and I haven't studied this in any shape or form, but I am concerned about what are the liability implications of having kids that'll slip and hit their head and Loma Linda gets sued. Are there liability issues? Or are there ways to control that? Okay, now you got to earn your keep. Our city attorney. And that's an honest question. I don't know the answer to that because if we have splash parks in Loma Linda,
Yeah.
I'm taking my grandkids there.
So here's the insurance, if you want to know what the insurance is.
Is that
So I checked
is not added into the total?
You have to pay for, it's only like $1,000 a year. I mean, 1,000.
For the city?
It's 1,000, depending on your insurance. And these are all the companies. There are like 10 listed here where you can go and ask for your liability insurance. And it depends on the size, the water system, the foot traffic, the safety measures, the maintenance plan, the location, and the desired coverage. And for smaller ones,
that's
it's
a lot
like
of criteria.
this
That's
is just
a
what
heck of a
he's
lot
gonna.
of criteria.
It's what he's gonna talk with if it's approved. What he would talk with the broker to see what we would get covered, and for very low, it's like like $350 to $700 a year for a water park, water amusement. That's on the lower end. It may be from $450 to $1,000 a year. For moderate risk, it may be $2,000 to a little bit more, like $5,000, $7,000 a year. It's not a large risk. It's these larger ones are for the pool. And so many of the cities have gone in together, or the city has gone in together with their splash pad and the pool, so it's much larger. But for just the splash pad, the insurance is not bad.
No, I agree. If it's $5,000, that's decimal dust in our budget.
Yeah.
So I agree with that.
What about
It's
parking?
a little surprising to me, but I want to hear from our city attorney because she's the one that'll be on the hot seat.
Well, there's always a potential for liability anytime you have children or even adults participating in recreational activities.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was a straight answer.
That was an answer from an attorney.
oh, Montclair, I can speak to Montclair. Montclair has a splash pad, and we have had incidences where, you know, after a while it like begins to deteriorate, and then there was a sharp edge around a drainage pipe, and a child fell and cut himself on that. So we received a claim in connection with that. But so I think that can happen, but it can certainly happen at pickleball courts and tennis courts. We had a claim arising from a tennis court because the fence was a little bent, and the gal, I guess, went to hit a shot and scraped herself on the bent part of. So there's always a potential.
So I'm not a legal the way you and Dusty are. So in layman's terms, this would seem to be a limited and reasonable risk for our community to have a splash pad.
We haven't had any serious claims.
Okay, thank you.
I am curious about
what I was
parking.
after.
Parking. Oh, sorry.
Is there some kind of a time limit or a window of opportunity for this?
Yes. So timeline-wise, right, with the grant, if we pursue the grant, both grants, it's a significant wait. They'll start accepting the applications around, I'm going to say, April, May of 2026. And then if we do get approved, sending out declaration letters, probably 2027 early, and then shovel the ground, going out, you know, reaching out to the contractor, I'm going to say 2027 late. So that's quite some time from now.
Location?
Citrus Trails, North Park.
Where?
Citrus Trails, North Park.
The one that I showed you, the pickleball court, is on the south side of Redlands Boulevard, west of California Street.
It's area D.
So what about parking? Because that park as it stands right now already exceeds parking capacity.
Yeah, if you guys have ever...
People park in the surrounding neighborhoods.
Yeah. The park gets utilized massively, and that's without a splash pad. For me, that's a compliment. If they're coming from other cities, that means we're doing something right, and that's without a splash pad. There is some parking that's on park. Yeah, they can park there.
But they don't. They park in the neighborhoods.
Yeah. But this is a significant parking area right here, but it is only for a pocket of time throughout the year for the splash pad. It is only really...
Again, you have a lot of people that just bought homes in that area that, you know, this is one of those things where we think it's a good idea and we put it in, and then 2 years from now, we have hundreds of people here at council meeting demanding to know why there's all these people in their neighborhood, and they just bought a house and didn't know that was going to be there and all this other stuff.
Well, there's a certain amount of known hazard when you buy a house right next to a big park.
Yeah.
It's like you can't just say, "Oh, what a surprise!" It's like people who are surprised that airplanes fly over at the end of a runway.
Question about the grant. So here's my concern, and this is why I feel there's a little pressure on this, because this isn't just approval to allow you to apply for a grant, because most grants come with conditions. If we apply for it, we're promising to do it. So this is subvertly, basically authorizing the splash pad here, and I don't like how that was presented personally. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So understand, if you give authorization to apply for this grant, we are promising if we get the grant, we apply it to this. And so we're committing to a splash pad right now with, it just, you know, it's like other things, it was kind of sold a different way.
The next grant to put in for a splash pad, just for an update, would be the Land and Water Conservation Grant, which we are currently applying for right now, and that won't hit until the end of 2026. So which will prolong if we move forward in the future, for, next year. If we don't go for these next 2 grants, sir. Yeah, just a timeline.
And when do they open?
Fourth quarter this year, because of the government shutdown, everything was kind of on pause. It's getting kicked back in. I'm expecting everything to get released before January 1st. Both grants. It would be $1 million grant that I would go for with your direction.
Okay, Rhonda, go in. We're
Make
talking
a-
about all kinds of stuff. Make your case.
I would say we go for it. I mean, it's a wonderful addition to a park. Clearly, many of the families with little kids, they want something like this. There's nowhere, in fact, at the library, when your library was packed with all those for the animal show, the moms that were showing up said, go look at your parks in the heat of the summer. She said they're going to be essentially, no one's there, no one's using it because it's too hot. Something like this
I'm
for
sorry,
just
that's not true.
something. That's what
I've
the
got
mom said.
grandkids.
Someone, the
and
mom said, it's basically many of the parks, the playground equipment is very hot when it's true. When it's 100 degrees in the middle of the summer, it's difficult to use the playground. They tried to make canopies, but they said something like this would be such a huge draw for the families to come, connect, be together, and play in water where, it's not standing water where they got to worry to drown. So I'm here to represent the moms and then the dads too that really wanted to have a place with water where we come and play in our city.
Well, I'm here to represent the people that live in that neighborhood, and I'm not sure how they feel, to be honest with you. And I'm also concerned about the cost involved. We're a city in deficit budget, and I realize we're talking about a grant, but we're also potentially talking about things the grant does not cover, which is staffing.
Which is minimal, likely. It's a seasonal thing. This thing is not full-time job. And a pool operator, basically on Indeed.com, is $25 an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. When we can't hire cops and firemen and paying them $250,000 an hour.
That's a separate issue. That's a separate issue.
You're making a lot of assumptions that this is just going to go perfectly fine.
Nothing ever goes. I'm not saying it goes perfectly fine, but I'm saying you can't stay stuck. You have to try to do things. And the demographics of your community is changing. We have a lot of families, right? Even the physicians were part of the survey saying, you know what? Have things for families in your community.
Who did you send the survey out to and where?
It went out through all of the garden contacts, and then the moms, any of the moms that came to one of the garden events, there was a survey collected. And then I did qualitative with those that were coming through. So you can say it's slighted or not. 100 moms individually giving input and saying, and one of them doesn't even have kids, was a physician at the university saying, it's hard to attract even the physicians to the hospital, bring in more to the area as they're buying up the homes to say, hey, this is a great place for families.
I think they're buying up the homes no matter what. We don't have
but
a problem
but it's
selling
not
homes.
a different story is the physicians that they're trying to attract. The bottom line is, how many activities and programs do you have for children in the community?
We don't have money. We barely survive providing the minimal services here.
You can't just stay. You have to push and you have to go.
With what money?
Well, we'll have to use $25 an hour for a pool person is not going to break your bank. It's not the salaries that you have for the other larger, what we saw from the salary survey. $25 for a pool person. It's not going to break your bank.
Can you state that in the form of a motion?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we go for the grant that John Trujillo has recommended for us to go for the splash pads. I make a recommendation that we apply for the splash pad grant.
I'll second it.
Motion is to approve the submittal of a grant application to apply for the grants stated to install a splash pad at Citrus Trails Park and authorize the city manager to execute the grant documents necessary. I will take a roll call vote. Councilmember Spencer?
Support.
Councilmember Brigsby?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daley?
Aye, with trepidation, but aye.
Mayor Duper?
No, for the reasons I stated.
Motion carried.
All right, moving on to the consent calendar.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull item 5D, 5G, and 5I.
Okay, you want to do them separately or all at once?
No, they're separate.
All right, so should we take a motion to approve the consent calendar for everything else? Or do you want to, or do you just have questions you want to hopefully just get answered real quick?
Some questions, some comments.
Well, let's see if we can get it fixed, and that way we can just do the whole thing. So 5D, what are your concerns?
All right. I'm trying to figure out my own organization here. This is the fire activity report. And according to this, which by my recollection is pretty consistent with what we've seen before, and that is about 70% of what we do is medical assistance in traffic collision and a little over 3% fire, correct?
Yeah, that's probably accurate. What the report, they say it's pretty consistent.
And that's been a trend.
Yeah,
So-
we're pretty consistent. Yeah, it's
So
kinda-
most of what we do in the fire department is medical assistance and
Yeah, industry-wide, you'll probably find very similar numbers. Most fire departments are heavy medical response versus fire.
but the budget's just in reverse.
I don't.
We budget for fire prevention and control, et cetera. But that's really a very minor part of our.
Well, we budget for basically a holistic response so that we can respond to everything. So, because we don't know, even though the majority of the time it will be medical aid, we don't know when the fire's going to come. So we hire people that can do both. And so they can run the medical aids, and then when there's a fire, they can respond to the fires. And so it's kind of that's why it's kind of an all risk type of approach.
Okay. That helps. Thank you. And after 20 years on the city council, you'd think I'd have figured that out by now, but I'm still learning. So thank you for the response. 5G. This is broadband group. And I read this, or I read a good part of it, and I'll read just one paragraph. This scope outlines the key tasks we believe are appropriate to assess the technical viability, deliver, I'm reading specifically, the technical viability, deliver a financial assessment, and formulate an investment and/or potential industry partnership considerations for the city fiber network. Over the course of the engagement, TBG will work closely with you to align the timing, scale, and sequence of the agreed upon. I have no idea what this says. So if somebody can help me with that, and then there's all kinds of impressive resumes and
Yes.
all that stuff, but I don't know what that means.
Yes.
And we're talking about a lot of money.
Yes. So what happening is right now the Loma Linda Connected Community, LLCCP,
Right,
is
right.
running deficit.
Underwater.
Okay? We're not doing well.
Always has.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we try to do is hire a consultant to come in and look at our operation to see, is it worth keeping it? Or is it worth do some improvement to make it better, to keep it? Or say the city or LLCCP, this is not working.
What does that mean? If
What does
it's
that
not
mean?
working, what do we just
Well, what
cut
does that
the
mean
optic?
is, well, right now we owe a lot of money because we borrowed the money from the state previous RDA funding.
Yeah.
Are we even allowed to change that because it's RDA tied project?
Well, now RDA is gone.
No, I understand that.
Now is overseen by the county. So the whole idea is to see if it's not working, then we're gonna go ask the
We'd have to ask the successor agency.
Correct.
Yeah, see, we don't even have the authority to disband it.
There you go.
Our-
Those are my questions.
Yeah.
Our debt regarding that is in forbearance because the organization loses money on it. And my question would be, and this is what they're going to have to determine, if we close it down, does the debt become due and payable immediately? And if so, then we never close it down.
Yeah, and tied to that is we have some special customers, right? Don't we provide services to the university and some other folks that, I mean, it's not just as easy as turning it off. Obviously, we have that RDA issue.
Right. Well, that's why we asked this firm to do that study for us. Maybe we can sell part of it, or successor agency sell part of it to Verizon or somebody that can run the fiber optic network. But the whole, because we spent a lot of time with Mark Hips, our legal counsel, said, what can we do? Because we can't afford to pay interest on the loan.
What are the financial implications? In other words, if we vote this down and continue to support this versus bailing, what are the financial implications?
Well, the whole idea is get a third-party consultant to come in and tell us our condition of our LLCCP. And then we'll work with our attorney and our consultant to say, hey, what can we do? Can we go back to successor agency and ask us to forgive the loan, or ask somebody to take over the loan and the LLCCP?
What kind of numbers are we talking about financially? Hundreds of thousands of dollars? Millions of dollars. Okay, hence my question.
So the item before you tonight is just
for the consultant.
Just to
I understand
enter into-
that.
Okay.
No, I do understand that. But what are the potential outcomes from the consultant? What are we looking for?
I think we're looking for guidance on a
How much is
recommended
that? How
course of
much is
action.
their guidance going to cost us?
36 grand.
36? Okay.
And they pay out of LLCCP, not general fund.
So it just adds to the debt.
Yeah.
Don't we lose about $500,000 a year on this program?
Right now, good evening. Right now, we owe, the LLCCP owes the money to the successor agency. So the loan keeps accumulating, and every year, it's about $560,000 in interest that is accruing. So we're not paying on it we're not making loan payments because LCCP is not making enough money to be able to make payments.
Yeah, but what's the hit to the general fund per year?
Right.
There isn't.
We're not.
There's none. It's just, it all accrues.
So it's hurting the
But where
successor agency.
does the cash come from?
There is no cash being
so-
generated right now through LCCP. LCCP is a separate entity.
Yeah.
And it runs as an enterprise fund.
Okay.
And so the operations that it currently has, it's not making any money extra to pay for any debt that it has.
But it's providing its own cash expenses with its revenues.
So yes.
Okay.
So with the revenues
And the
collected-
fact that the debt is accruing to the old, adding to the old debt, we don't really care. Because it's in forbearance, and that was a legal judgment, wasn't it? Yes, before your time.
That's
I'll have
a
to
new
ask you.
twist. That's a new twist for me.
Yeah.
Is that the case?
So it would have to be the successor agency who would foreclose, basically. And
Yeah, and it's
they
a
don't
huge
care.
amount of money, and it became due and payable on the date that there was this
Eliminated.
elimination, and we, with the advice of Mark Hipsch, got a judgment that we do not have to make any payments on it until we make a profit. And if we never make a profit, we never have to make payments. But I'm worried that if the advice says shut it down, that will make that agreement go away, and then it's due and payable immediately. That would be my
And the
biggest
point Dusty's
concern.
making is pivotal to my
Leave it
vote
alone.
on this.
You leave it alone is your pitch.
Well, yeah, but we still need to know, what
Well,
do we have something that, and all that needs to be looked into. And I think
We've done that before. We tried to sell it last year or the year before, remember? And we had somebody close to buying it and then they bailed, right?
Okay, so my question then would be, is this $36,000 covered by the revenue or is this coming out of general fund?
It's not general fund, it comes from the revenue.
So this expense does not occur on the general fund's books?
No.
Do we have to subsidize it to backfill it for cash purposes because of this expense? Because we can't borrow any more money from it. We can just add accrued interest to the old debt, and that doesn't cost us a dime. But if it costs us cash money, then that's and if there's no cash outlay, then this is basically someone else is paying the bill.
Right, and if you look at it under financial impact, we did budget for this consultant to do the work.
And it will be paid out of the Loma Linda Connected Communities.
Okay, so there's no hit to the general fund, so
No.
there's no harm.
No, this will be paid from revenues collected through LLCCP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really no cost to us.
Okay, in that case, I'll support it when we get to the overall vote.
Thanks.
I didn't understand that, so thank you. What was the next one?
5I.
Oh, yeah. Eliminate code compliance officer. That speaks for itself. I've got a problem with that.
We not.
I can speak to that.
Okay.
So the code compliance officer that previously worked here took a job elsewhere. So we had a vacancy in that position. I had the opportunity to kind of reimagine that position. Knowing our financial deficit and knowing the workload that officer was, taking on, it makes sense to move it to a contract employee part-time. We're getting a lot more productivity out of that. The other benefit with going with a model that way is it provides a bench. So previously, when the code enforcement officer would take a day off, I couldn't backfill it with anything. So code enforcement activities weren't happening. Now with a contract employee or agency, that person takes a day off, they get injured or any of the above, they'll just send someone else to fill that so the code enforcement objective is fulfilled. So it's actually a benefit to the city to have a pool of people to pull from, and it's a benefit to the city by a lower cost.
So it's lower cost, doesn't have a negative impact on our budget, and we're still in compliance with the codes we're concerned about.
Positive impact on the budget.
Wow.
And we're getting more compliance.
Tom, you should have called me. You just saved me a lot of heartache.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
A lot of other cities are doing this too. We're not the only ones.
Okay. You're more connected than I am on that.
With that, I move the consent
Okay,
calendar.
we have a first
Second.
I'll second.
and a second.
Motion is to approve the consent calendar as submitted. Councilmember Spencer,
Approve.
Councilmember Rigsby,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daly,
Support.
Mayor Duper.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to old business. We have our wildland urban interface codes coming back.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions here too. I apologize to everybody out here waiting for this.
So I'll make this short. Nothing's changed since the last time I came last month to present the new codes that are going to be adopted in January of 2026. So my recommendation would just to move them item 4. We never received any comments or concerns from public or else anyone else on the code adoption and the code updates. But I'm here to answer any questions for you, sir.
My only questions were, what are the changes? Because I tried to read some of this stuff.
Yep.
And what are the improvements? And what you're telling me is there's no changes, so.
No change. So we are making some tweaks to the code. Like I mentioned the last time, the biggest tweak is for many, many years, my predecessors adopted the International Wildland Urban Interface Code. A lot of other cities weren't doing that, which helped, enforce stricter building standards in the very high fire hazard severity zone. California's finally caught up. They have their own Wildland Urban Interface Code. So we're moving away from the international code, going to the California code to be compliant. That's the biggest change in the code.
And that's an improvement.
That's an improvement, yes, sir.
Not going to cost us any money.
No, none of this is all cost neutral. Every city has to adopt the new fire codes to be in compliance with, the Building Standard Commission and the Health and Safety Code.
No,
and it happens every 3 years.
And there are changes to the map.
There was a change in the map. Yes, we had that meeting. Yep. But this is codes catch up. Bad incidents happen. We're a very reactionary society. Incidents happen throughout the year. Technology improves. Very smart people, smarter than me, get together on an annual basis, figure out both in the public side and the private side codes and standards for building and fire and life safety systems, and they improve these every 3 years. So we just adopt those codes.
And pardon my cynicism. I understand what you're saying, and I know that to be the case. I serve on a number of boards and task forces and so forth that include a lot of retired fire people. And they tell me everybody in Sacramento is a retired fireman. Well, not everybody, but a lot of them. And they kind of jimmy rig some of this stuff too. So that's why I feel compelled to at least ask the questions.
Sure.
So if it's budget neutral, and we're comfortable with the changes that this is recommending, then I'm okay. I have no issue. I've got no burden.
Yes, sir.
I've got to respond to District 3 to be sure that I know what I'm talking about.
And when I say budget neutral, there's no cost to us besides having to purchase the new code books, and we're talking hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. That's decimal dust.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
We did a public hearing last month, so let's entertain a motion.
Oh, wait. What are you moving?
I'm moving the staff recommendation.
Oh, for this item?
6A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Support.
Okay. We have
And
a
this
second.
is this the second reading formally, or yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah.
This is it.
Yes, there are 2 ordinances. Are you
Both.
moving both?
Yes.
Yes.
We received a second.
You did receive a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Councilmember Spencer. Motion is to adopt. Motion to adopt Council Bill O-2025-04, waiving the ordinance reading in its entirety and to read by title only, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda, adopting and amending the 2025 edition of the California Fire Code, adopting and amending the 2024 edition of the International Fire Code and repealing Chapter 15.28 of the Loma Linda Municipal Code, and to adopt Council Bill O-2025-05, waiving the ordinance reading in its entirety and read by title only, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Loma Linda adopting and amending the 2025 edition of the California Wildland Urban Interface Code, excuse me. I will do a roll call vote. Councilmember Spencer?
Approve.
Councilmember Rigsby?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daley?
Support.
Mayor Jipper?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Okay, next is 6B, which is a supplemental approval of our Schedule A with the Sheriff's Department. So I will not vote on it, but everybody else can, so we can discuss it or we can move it.
If you're going to facilitate the discussion, then I have a question on
Okay.
that. I mean,
Dr. Daly, go ahead.
you all are getting your money's worth out of me. I mean, I'm sorry to hold you over, but this increases the cost of our law enforcement at its current rates, as I understand it, by $467,000 next year.
Yes.
So you've heard references made to the fact that we are on a tight budget, in a tight knot. Help me understand why the same level of law enforcement support in our city, which is doing a very effective job, I'm fully supportive of it, but $460,000 in 1 year is a heavy hit for us. Help me understand that. Oh, we'll turn to our local sheriff here first.
The lieutenant probably was not part of the labor negotiation. So
I should have given you a heads up, but he always anticipates me, so.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, I
Jar.
was the one who have to talk to the sheriff, the county sheriff. So what happened last May, on May 15, the city council approved the county sheriff contract for this fiscal year 2025-26. During that time, the county sheriff department has not completed their labor negotiation with the Sheriff Employee Benefit Association group. Okay, since then they have completed it, the negotiation, and their salary increase, the benefit increase, which in turn is going to increase our contract by $467,000. Now, as far as the breakdown, if you look at the back of the Schedule A, okay, on page 3 of 4, if you look at the Schedule A, there's a level of service. The first column, which is the lieutenant, the sergeant, the deputy sheriff, and so forth and so on. You see that table? Okay, so first column is level of service. The second column is cost. The third column is MOU increase, effective October 4th of 2025. And the last column is the total due contract amount. So if you look at it, the increase was for 5 different categories, which is all labor costs.
Okay, I've got it in front of me. I see it.
Yes.
My question is, we basically signed on to a contract we had no control over. Well, as a citizen of Loma Linda, how do I know, how do I explain to my district that we don't have any control over the cost of our law enforcement?
No, you can't just say you don't have control. You do have control.
How do we have control? Because
in the term of the service, right? So you want to keep our standard. That's what you pay. If you want to reduce our standard of
that's
services,
the part we have no control. If we want to sustain our standard,
then
We
you
don't
to
have any
pay.
control.
Correct.
That's my objection.
Yes.
The only control we have is take it or leave it.
We have
control.
Captain,
We can take it or leave it. That's the control we have. And we can start our own police department.
Yeah.
I
Which
always
is a disaster.
I always wondered how many bullets we would give Barney.
What's that? I didn't hear
So,
that.
all right, I'm gonna weigh in here a little bit. So here's the unfortunate reality. At some point, we're gonna have to start thinking about increasing staffing, because our deputies that we have here, and I don't want to get into staffing levels publicly, but they're getting to be overworked. This city is a lot busier than it ever was before.
I agree.
That is a combination of a lot of things. You know, the fact that we are a healthcare center and we have a lot of people that come in and out, but the reality is the calls for service with our residents are increasing. So, I mean, I'm going to look over. I know Dave knows this, but the folks that work here are a lot busier. And I know you don't mean it like that, Dusty, but the whole idea that this is safe, quiet little Adventist town is not the case anymore. And we cannot survive with one deputy and a bullet like Barney Fife. And the reality is something I've been concerned with for the last several years is, when do we need to start talking about increasing our staffing? Because we are there.
But we need to, and then Dave?
Yes, sir.
I'll turn to you in a second, but then we need to help our constituents understand that as well, because I don't think most of them do. I really don't.
I think the ones that call do, because they're waiting longer and longer.
Well, those are the ones that call.
And there's a lot of people that call. You know, I mean, I can tell
So
you.
if we
from-
say we need to raise your taxes so we can help cover the cost of law enforcement, they'll understand?
They're going to have to at some point. Law enforcement and fire are the two biggest costs to any city.
Yeah.
And we're getting increased calls for service on fire side too. So, I mean, that's just the reality. We're a bigger city. We're growing.
And what you say makes perfect sense. I
Yeah, I
totally
mean,
get
it's-
it. But I'm also telling you, I've got neighbors that say, no, I don't want any increase in costs. I'm paying enough. My
Sure.
water bill's already gone up too high.
Yeah.
And that's the fact.
Then those are the same people that are going to have to understand, if we have to cut services because we don't have the money to pay for it, then that's what we're going to have to do.
So I'll need help with some of that data.
I was waiting
if I run
for a lull
re-election.
that never came.
What's that?
I was waiting for a lull in the conversation that never came.
Right.
Does sheriff's office keep a report of response times similar to what fire does? Response
With our CAD
times?
system, we're able to get the response times.
Okay, and you could trend it over time, you know, and document deterioration, something like that. That would be nice to see, just, you know, at some point in the future.
I mean, we did have a
and
network
I agree.
disruption in 2023, so we didn't have a CAD system until,
23,
yeah.
July, right?
Correct. I mean, so there's some data that's missing, but for the most part, from 2024 on, we can get that documentation in regards to response times.
And that would be helpful because I need data, because I'm going to be walking the streets here in the next few months and talking with people, and I need to know what I'm talking about.
But to what the mayor said earlier about responding to calls for service, it's not just that. I think people expect us to also be out there and be proactive. When I first got here about 3-4 months ago and saw the type of arrests that deputies out here are making that involves weapons, narcotics, and so forth, it was surprising to me.
Again, if you can provide that to us in a understandable way, I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, so if you can provide it to us, that could be helpful, at least in this narrow part of what constituents are going to be concerned about. Because if I have to go back to them and say, we may have to increase your taxes, or we may have to do X, Y, Z, I've got to be able to have a rationale for that. And to have a legitimate rationale, I need to have data.
Of course.
So that would be very helpful.
And in regards to our contract, the last contract was 5 years ago that was signed off. I have no control over the contract and what they're asking for. I just, vote yes or no on the contract.
I understand. I understand.
All right, so you guys are going to have to move it and do all that because I'm going to abstain.
I'm up for reelection. I'm not going to move it. You move it.
I'll move it. I'll move it, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, so we did receive a motion. Motions to approve amendment number 37 to contract agreement number 94-523, Schedule A, with the County of San Bernardino for law enforcement services for fiscal year 2025 to 2026, reflecting adjustments resulting from the Sheriff's Employees Benefit Association SEBA Memorandum of Understanding increases, and to approve a supplemental appropriation of $467,200 to fully fund the fiscal year 2025-26 Sheriff's Law Enforcement Service Contract, and to authorize the city manager to execute two signed copy agreements of amendment number 37 and return them to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department Bureau of Administration by December 1st, 2025. Councilmember Spencer?
Approve.
Councilmember Rigsby?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Daly?
Support. Sort of.
Thank you.
All right.
Motion carried.
Moving on to 6C. This is a follow-up report on the city's repair work on State Street, the tree thing that we were talking about last month.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You remember at the last city council, the property owner at 25625 State Street came to you requesting that the city remove the oak trees in front of his house because it caused the water leaks at the trees. So the city council gave us the direction for the city staff to go out and do an investigation. And we did. We went out and cut the sidewalk, dug up around the meters, and we determined that there's no water leak at that location. So staff recommend that, and then in addition to that, after and the property owner, he was there at that time. So after.
And I think it's important to point out, that is in Councilman Popescu's district, and he actually was there and.
No, he wasn't at when we went dug up the sidewalk, but he went to the house before to check on it when the first news came out as a water leak. He didn't see any leak at that location. So
okay, but that's my point.
But he did.
He would support this motion, and that makes a difference to me.
So where was the leak?
Based on the investigation, is inside the house. So. In addition to that, after we put the sidewalk back, at the request for Councilman Ron Daly, the city crew contracted a company to went out and trim the oak trees, not just that trees, and all the trees around State Street. Is that correct? Yes, we did, and that's in my report.
That's just a receive and file. Let's move on to 6D.
Mr. Mayor, we do have a speaker for that item.
Okay.
That would be Chris Juden Paitel.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, hello, Mayor and Council. So real quick, wanted to correct a couple things. My address is 25624 State Street. So that's inaccurate. I didn't come to the council to request tree removal. I request repair, which was done. I appreciate it. There was a leak. It was within the valve that was unknown to us. Just past the meter, there was roots that were pressing on the valve that have bent it that were causing the leak. In the report that JARB was presenting, it even says that when the water guy showed up, there was a leak. And they're able to determine that it was between the meter and the house. We do have a leaky sprinkler in the backyard that I found. That's outside of the issue. Now that we have fixed the water leak, I wanted to, hoping I can bring up that further investigation found that there's actually a gas line under the tree root ball, and we'd actually like to request a full removal at this point. We don't think it's substantially safe, and I think Dr. Daly?
Can you repeat that a little more slowly so I
sorry.
understand? So, okay, there wasn't a leak that was creating the problem that we anticipated, and according to the city investigation. And what is it you're requesting now?
There was a leak. I'm not sure if you said wasn't or was, but there was a leak.
A
and-
water leak?
A water leak, correct, yeah. And they came out and repaired it. And so it is fixed. But we've found out that there's a natural gas line that runs directly under the tree. And we are now asking for full removal of the tree because of that danger that it's posing to my neighbors and myself, my family.
And what's the relationship of the alleged gas leak to removal of the tree? Why do we need to remove a tree? Shouldn't Southern California Gas come out and fix the leak?
There's no current leak. It's just a potential danger. And in the city policy, it says that speaking to John and Jarb, says a safety hazard is a valid concern. We looked up in the Public Works Code, I believe, and there's no actual specific justification. It just gives examples. And one of them is often recited: dead, diseased, dying trees, or an undue burden. And we feel a safety hazard.
So you're saying
of
there's
this
a
nature.
risk of a gas leak that could impact the...
Right, yeah.
Could impact what?
Our
I know there's a tree, but what's the gas leak going to do to the tree?
I'm not concerned about the tree. It could cause a explosion, fire at our home, our cars, our property, our neighbors as well.
But isn't that a Edison, or I'm sorry, Southern California Gas issue? How's that a city issue?
It's a city-owned tree, so it's a city-owned problem created.
So we have a water lateral, we have gas lateral, we have electrical lateral everywhere. And we have trees everywhere. So if you start remove the trees because the gas line there, I have to do a lot of tree removal. So when my staff, well, again, I argue, and the whole idea is at this point when my staff went out there, the trees is in good health, and there's no point of removing the trees, just because we worry about one day there might be a gas leak. So.
Well, my concern is more for our safety than how much work you have to do. If you look at the code, it says it shouldn't have ever been planted there to begin with. It was planted within 8 feet of a water or sewer line and within 10 feet of a street lamp line. It's also not allowed to be even planted anymore, from what I understand.
The trees just happened to plant it before the city was incorporated, and so I'm not responsible. Well, the city should be responsible for that.
So if you're not responsible for that because it was before the tree was incorporated, then it's not actually a city-owned tree.
No, I didn't say that, but I was not responsible for where the tree was planted.
So then is it
with
exempt?
respect to the lateral?
Gotcha.
So again, at this point, the council has to let me know. At this point, the city, my direction is I'm not going to cut down the trees unless you tell me.
I have a technical question. What is the material of the water line? So it's galvanized. Okay. And what's the material for a gas line?
In case it galvanized. So come on up so the council can.
Yeah.
Hey, John, how are you? Yeah. Yeah, so it is plastic, it is encased, and it does have flex to it as well. Just like Jarb mentioned, gas lines run underneath probably everybody's properties right here throughout the entire city. To say that there is going to be a potential gas leak is just a guess, and there is no gas leak right now. You could call the gas company and ask to do a report, and they'll probably say the same thing. There is no gas leak right now.
Is the gas line high pressure or low pressure?
It's high pressure.
Okay, and then it goes to a step down at the water, at the gas meter at the house.
From the main to the
Yeah.
property, yeah, it is a slower pressure.
Yeah.
Smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the gas company have some leak detection?
Yes.
That's automatic?
Well, they routinely drive around and do leak detection, but you can also request they come out and do it as well.
And I think their meter is similar to our water meter now. They have a sensor that sends it directly to their office. So
Actually, well, I know that's true where I live because I came home one day and there was a gas company truck parked in my driveway, and dude was working on my gas meter, and I'm like, I didn't call you. And he said something about they detected something and they came out and automatically fixed it. But I don't know if that is everywhere in the city. Okay, what do you guys want to do with this?
Just to follow up, the blind is not plastic. It was never actually unearthed to see what it was. We saw the photos from the staff work, and you can't see the gas line. So it is galvanized. It's not plastic. The house was built in 1971. They weren't doing plastic back then. And then there's an assumption that there is a sleeve. We don't know. Again, it was never unearthed. And there's gas that runs that all over the city, according to Jarb and John. But is every gas line running through a root ball of a 70-year-old oak tree that has damaged utilities
So
presently and in the past,
I
and will damage in the future?
I'll just give you my perspective. I appreciate all the effort you put into this. You have really done your homework. You've come here diligently, and you've really presented a lot. We took your side, so to speak, last time, and we directed the city to go out there and dig up the sidewalk and double check in this particular case, and it wasn't what we all thought it was going to be. And the problem, like the city manager said, is we have this in thousands of homes potentially around the city. And I am not comfortable setting any type of precedent where we start just removing stuff based on possibilities. We just can't operate like that. So unfortunately, I just can't side with you on this one, but I appreciate all the work you put into it. I mean, you make very compelling argument, but looking at it globally, that's where I'm at. So I'm not sure where everybody else is.
My challenge is it's a rare risk. There's no database of gas leaks with trees growing. It's a very rare risk. Is it without a risk? Anything's possible. But the level of what this warrants, it's the likelihood of this ever happening, it's very, very like 1 in probably a gazillion billion from a stat perspective.
And is methane lighter than air? In other words, if it leaks, does it go straight up, or does it pool around the house and blow up the foundation?
I believe it pools. And Mayor Duper, you said the resolution wasn't what you thought it would be. What was the resolution that you were thinking it would be?
Well, what was presented was that it was a city-caused leak, and it turned out it was not.
It was a city-caused leak, sir. I have the photos that show the root removal.
if it is, we fix it.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
That's why I said thank you.
And we went way outside of our norms to tear up the sidewalk to go do that. Based on a presentation that you gave us, which again was phenomenal. It convinced us we needed to do that, but we've done that now, and so I think we're kind of at the end. That's my perspective. What about down here on the rest of the dais? Because we still have, I understand, but we have a lot of agenda still too. So I just want to see where we're going and because we can debate this again all night. It's up to you guys.
I agree with the mayor.
Thank you. just to clarify, the city is holding its stance then that it is more in line with keeping up the trees in the city than it is potential causes for hazards or for the residents living on that property. That is more of a precedent.
Let me speak. I don't think that's a fair characterization. As has already been said, I supported the issue before, but we have thousands of houses. We have an equal number of gas pipes and water pipes. And if we begin to make judgments based on low probabilities, which is what Councilman Spencer is saying, I mean, we just start digging up the city now. And so this would be potentially setting a precedent that is problematic. So I think that's where I hear the day is coming from. It's not that we don't see that there's the potential that there could be a gas leak that could blow the tree out of the yard. It's possible, but there's a lot of possibilities. So I guess my question to you would be, what are the issues with the tree? Do you just not want the tree there? Or
I don't want to go down this rabbit hole again where we're like, we love the tree. We love the tree. We understand. We like the tree. The issue is that this particular tree, the root ball, is right over our utilities and lines for our water and gas. So the issue that we had, it runs through them. We can't even access it. And so the arguments we're bringing up have to do with these trees are too big. We're not allowed to plant them anymore. I understand that they were here before the city was incorporated. But moving forward and looking at county codes, you can't just plant whatever tree you want because it's not supposed to get into the way of those utility lines. And that's the problem we're having. And while it was a smaller leak, it doesn't mean that it's not going to potentially put pressure on other lines within the property. But also we're not going to be able to kind of get to it because there's this gigantic root ball there. So is it possible for a root barrier to be installed so that we can ensure that we can access those lines later on? No. Okay. Thank you, Jarb. So the thing that we have this tree that we can't work on the things that potentially are going to break. It's weird, it's odd. I don't think newer housing developments would have this issue. From what I can see around the neighborhood, it seems like our area, that street, has some of the bigger oak trees. Yes, they're beautiful, but they are invasive in their root system. So the issue that I'm seeing is if something happens again and we have to come back to the table and say, well, was it the tree roots? Is it the city problem? Or is it just because it's time to replace those lines? We'll be back.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're
And
saying.
I get the precedent. I totally do. You don't want people coming up here and saying, listen, I don't like all these leaves falling off this tree, the sap. Like I could get into that. We didn't know what we signed up for in that sense. But the reality is all of my neighbors have this gigantic tree on their lawn. And so I think it is a unique circumstance that maybe needs to be discussed to kind of come up with a plan for later, because there's a potential or risk that other properties experience these same things. So I get the precedent. but I also would like you to consider the uniqueness of the situation.
No, well put. Thank you. That clarifies your perspective for me. It doesn't change the dilemma that we have as a city, but I understand your point.
It doesn't. So I think that is the uniqueness of this situation. I kind of say, like, the chicken or the egg, like, was it the tree, or was it because it's time to replace the lines? We don't know. So something to consider. I encourage you guys to look at that again. I think, thank you for the opportunity to come up here and speak. My husband did do his research. He did look into quite a few different codes and things like that. So I'm hoping at some capacity that was helpful and useful.
You guys are awesome. And we have enjoyed interacting with you. It's too bad it's this way and it's not more informal and personable, but you do bring a compelling case, but I think we have to look at totality, and at least that's where I think we're headed. So it's one of those unfortunate ones that's a difficult decision to make, but we have to make it.
Okay.
And then why are we being denied a root barrier that is commonly installed throughout the city? Over the gas and water line. Yep. Don't know. I'm not sure, but you probably have to take the tree out. Yeah.
Good try. Okay.
I'm just getting everything on record. I just want to make sure I believe this is our last chance before we head over to the courts and stuff like that. So I just wanted to make sure we get it clear and stuff like that.
Sounds good. All right. Well,
Thank you,
thank
guys.
you. Okay. I think that's a receive and file, so we'll move on to 6D. I would like to hear a little bit more detail on this.
Well, I was going to have PowerPoint, but I'm just going to keep it short, okay? Back in 2018, we worked with Inland Temporary Home. We leased out 2 of the houses that was moved to the Heritage Park, and it's moved by the developers who build those homes. So they rented the front 2 houses. And Inland Temporary Home, as we know it, they take care of homeless women with children, and we support them for many, many years from a CDBG grant. In addition to the front 2 houses, there's another 2 houses in the back that was in really bad shape. And we looked into it. We was going to renovate it, but the cost is just too much. So Mr. Jeff Little, he's a CEO for the Inland Temporary Home, did hire an architect, went take a look at both houses and willing to renovate it, okay, at a cost of over $2 million. In addition to that, he wanted to do improvement to the site.
He came in and did
He wanted a lifetime lease.
He did a big presentation on this.
Yeah.
Right.
We remember.
And so, yes,
He
he
wants
wanted
a
a long-term
lifetime-
lease.
a lifetime
not
lease.
quite. It could be 20, 40
like
years.
30
No,
years or
it was long. It was like
Right, but they're willing to spend $2.8 million.
Yeah, but
They- the lease.
did they ever demonstrate the ability to actually generate that money? That was my concern. He came in with a lot of conceptual ideas, and I don't know, he came in with proof that they could actually make it happen.
Okay.
That was
But
my
my concern was the lease is too long. Like it was, I forget the number, but it was
like
astronomical.
30 or 40 years or something.
Yeah, it was
No, more like 20
sep-
years with an option.
to extend the lifetime. It was something crazy. Yeah.
So the request is to see if you're willing to let me work with him. But if the answer is no, you want it that long, that's fine.
My concern was, and I think we even asked him, and he wasn't certain where he could actually generate that money. So if there's no good plan, Dusty, go ahead.
Part of the negotiation would be a severability, or what do you call it, a cancellation clause or something. For example, if they go out of business and try to sell it off to a house of ill repute or something, we could pull the.
Yeah, the lease would have to be negotiated and drafted.
Yeah.
I think Jarvis just looking for direction on whether you want to even start down that path.
Did he come
Any
back?
lease would have to be brought back to the council.
Did he come back, or is this us re-engaging? Because that was like a year ago.
Yeah, yeah.
No, he did came back. That's why he moved forward, hired an architect, went out to look at the buildings and to see how much it's going to cost to repair the house. And I said, well, good. So now if we want to move to the next step, I will bring it back over here to for the city council direction for me to start doing negotiation with him and bring it back. And so, but at first he was going to be here tonight, but he doesn't feel good. And I told him that he was this item is the last item, so we might be here a while. So that's why he's not here. But
The way I look at it is we don't have the money to improve the property, and if he wants to invest the money to improve the property, then that's a reasonable proposal. And part of what you get with that, if you build on someone else's property, then you, after a certain number of years, the improvements go back to the city. And that's the recompense for it. And it can be a nominal, lease rate because of that money flow. And, it basically turns it into a nice functional property rather than just being a derelict, that we're responsible for. And, people bird bathing.
that was my concern. I'm so glad that they're renting the front two property because actually, I'm afraid that the homeless will go in there and set the house on fire.
Weirdly, we don't have issues with homeless at that park. Probably because they probably think that's all inhabited there at the front. But I don't know. I would really like to see some type of business plan or something that really enumerates in more detail where he's going to come up with this, and then what's the timeline on the improvements.
Well, I haven't get to that part yet. I'm waiting for you to. But if then we just done. So
He has to negotiate all this stuff, and if they don't perform, then the deal's off. That's what's in the lease. That's what's in the agreement, right?
I don't know.
there's no agreement yet, sir.
He's asking for permission.
But a good agreement is going to have all of those clauses in it. It's, if he can't come up with the money, then we're back where we started from.
Does the agreement come back to us to vote on, or
The lease.
the lease
Yeah.
that he?
How about looking into it and then coming back with some conceptual ideas that have some teeth?
He was going to, but it doesn't feel good. I talked to him tonight, so I did.
Okay.
If okay, I can bring it back. Are you willing to listen? I can
Yeah.
bring him back on either December or January meeting. So
Okay.
yeah, because December is pretty packed. So let's do it.
It's not going to be 11 o'clock packed, is it? All right. See, we're not done with the meeting because now we have on to new business, all of our vacancies on our boards and committees. So I had some discussion with the city attorney about this and just looking at, I figured we were going to get these packets, and what we usually do is want to go through and study them. And so my thought was we might want to bring this back for decision anyway next month.
How about I request something? There's a couple.
A couple of them are just automatic.
Correct. For example, budget committee, we have one vacant position, which is Jay Gallant, and he reapplied.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
That's a no-brainer.
So I'm missing my. So the second one is the planning commission. Okay. There's two vacancy, and both of them
reapplied.
Mr. Nichols there, Mr. J. Nelson, they both are here. Okay, they reapply. So I would like them to continue. The third committee is traffic advisory committee.
Hold on a second. Do we have a consensus on that? I'm good with that.
Okay.
Rhonda? We're looking at the planning commission.
We're just talking about the continuation.
Yeah, I mean, these two have
Continuation of current members.
I don't want to age them, but they've been on the planning commission probably longer than I've been around. I think they do a phenomenal job.
No, I agree with the mayor on that. They do very well.
Yes, and they both are here. Yes.
And John will make an eloquent speech if you.
Not necessary.
I think we have consensus. on
Okay,
that.
good. Another one is the Historical Commission.
Yep.
There's the 3 vacancy, and all 3 members
Have a-
reapply.
All right, that
For
was
which,
easy.
which
Okay.
committee is that?
Historical.
Oh, okay.
Historic, okay.
Let's do this one because I want to deny it. The personnel board,
Yes,
it's only one applicant. It's
and 1 person.
Milford.
So Milford. Okay? And the last one is Traffic Advisory Committee. We have 3 vacancy. The existing 2 are, huh? Right. So the existing, which is Mike and Milford, reapply, and the 3rd application, which have 3 vacancies, we have 3 applicants, is Art Wall, who used to be
yeah, he was
chairman.
on it for years.
Okay?
Art Wall.
Yes. So the only committees that have more members than
Then
more
the
applicants,
is the Parks
applicants
Committee.
is Park and
But-
Park Beautification Committee.
But let's just clarify for the clerk. Everything else was, you got that? You're good, Lynette? Want to make sure.
This was, so the one vacancy for the Budget Committee, you're recommending reappointing Mr. Gallant.
Yes.
For the Historic Commission, we have 3 vacancies, and the 3 members who applied, they're all members to reappoint them. Mr. Kaufman, Ms. Nelson, and Mr. Ramos. For Planning Commission, the recommendation is to reappoint Mr. Nelson and Mr. Nichols. For the
With a
Personnel.
question on Mr. Nichols. I mean, it's, no,
No, he's joking.
I'm joking.
And for
He
the
knows that.
Personnel Board, we have 1 vacancy and 1 applicant, which is Mr. Harrison.
The Mr.
And for the Traffic Advisory Committee, we have 3 vacancies. There was 3 applications. So the recommendation is to reappoint Milford Harrison, Mr. William Chapman, and Mr. Michael Stewart.
Wait, no, I don't know if that was correct. No, it was.
Oh,
Art
I'm
Wall.
sorry. What did
Yeah.
I say? Oh, okay.
Art Walls, I think.
Art Walls. That was the Traffic Advisory Committee. Yes, I'm sorry. And I spoke with him today. That's a typo on my notes.
Jarb knows where these.
Yes,
all
it was
are.
Milford Harrison, Michael Stewart, and Art Walls. This was incorrect on my, the staff report. So that was the Traffic Advisory Committee. So the only, the one is the Parks Recreation Beautification Committee. There's 4 vacancies, and we received
10.
1, 2.
That's my committee,
5,
so.
6. We received 6 applications,
Oh,
and there's 4
good.
vacancies.
Okay.
And those are
good,
all in your
good.
packets. I included in your.
Yes.
Val.
Valerie Gallant
Val Gallant.
Yeah.
and Jim.
James
James,
Earsom.
And do we have is it well attended? Because I used to be on the Trails Committee, we have a lot of people that.
Well, we combined the Trail Committee and Park Committee, we combined them. So Jim used to be on the Trail Committee, now he's on our Park and Beautification Committee.
And we
So,
get pretty consistent attendance on it. We do, yeah.
Yeah.
Jarb threatens us if we don't show up.
So you want to bring it back, or you want to, I think,
Well, do you
all
guys-
of them are here. You want to talk to them?
what do you guys want to do?
Yes. Is Annie here?
It's 1, 2, there's 4, there's 2, for the Parks, Recreation, and Beautification Committee, 4 vacancies. We have 2 members who reapplied, that's Valerie Gallant and James Earsom, and then the other 4 member applications are new. Yes.
They're pointing, there's somebody here.
We,
Anne
I think they're all four here. I don't,
Who's here? If you can raise your hand if you're here for the parks.
Oh, yeah. It's a great committee.
Cynthia, who's Cynthia? Is Cynthia here?
is Cynthia here? Oh, Sheila. She, yeah, Sheila.
the one that helped do the fire station.
So we have, again, how many vacancies and how many applicants?
There are 4 vacancies, and we received 6 member applications.
I would recommend reappointing Valerie and James. And then for the other 2 positions, we select from the 4 applicants that are here.
So we need to hear from them.
And Cynthia's not here, but she's the one that's already been volunteering with us with the fire and doing things, so. Cynthia's not here, but she's one that has been volunteering and helping with the fire department and running like the annual, like they had a movie night there, so she's already been doing stuff, but she had to leave.
And that's good, but I want to give, personally, I want to give preference to people that are here, that are.
She was,
willing to
I
come
think
up
she
and-
came, I don't know, she was here earlier, but they had to leave because the timing of this is
I'm saying if there are people that are here that have hung in here
till after
till,
10.
yeah,
I don't-
10:10,
I don't-
that counts
Okay.
in my vote.
Okay. I would say,
I can bring it back. This way you can talk to all 4 and,
I would say that's fair.
okay.
And I'm going to say, I would prefer people that have spent the last 3 hours here.
Again, you want to listen,
and
that
make
3,
their case.
you want to listen to the 3 and
Go ahead. Yeah, they could come, but I think it's,
I mean, I'm past my bedtime already anyway, but, and so I assume they are as well.
I think we have,
What do you want to do, Rhonda? You want to, this other person?
well, Cynthia, I think it's, she was here earlier, but the timing of the meeting going so late and the end that the commission is being appointed at the end, I think it's by, and she has kids again. So sometimes this time of the day is really difficult if you have small children. So I would say my vote is let them speak, but then we don't decide because they were here and they did come. Let the ones who are here talk about it, but then we come back and bring it back next time.
Well, if we're going to.
I'm good with that.
If we're going to do that, I'd rather just bring it back, all of them back next time. Do it in one shot. Because that way we hear from the 4 people for the 2 positions. And
Does that sound fair to the people that are out here that have been sitting here for 3 hours with us, or?
put us in the front of the agenda, it's fair. And not at the end.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can we start with that then, next time? Yeah, okay.
all right, let's do that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for your interest and your willingness to be engaged and participate in city governance. That's critical.
And it's kind of selfish on our part because it means we get to see you next month. Okay, moving on.
Mr. Mayor, are we doing everybody?
No, I think we were
Just
all
the
good with
parks.
just,
So it's a consensus, the other committees, it was a consensus of those present. Okay,
Jarb knows the details. If you have any questions, he knows.
okay.
One thing though, someone who applied for the budget committee was also here and he also had to leave because he has kids.
Yeah, but we're going to reappoint our same budget committee we're comfortable with. I think that was pretty clear. Sorry. So, sorry.
Just for clarification, you want all 6 to come back?
No, I think we
So-
said we're going to fill 2 of the spots with the incumbents, and then we want the 4 to come back for the 2 remaining
Okay,
spots.
I wanted to be clear that that's part of what's already been decided tonight. Okay.
Okay.
So that, may I just add one more thing? That will be December 9th.
Okay, Section 8, reports of council members.
Nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. Nothing.
Well, I might just try to hold you guys here till 11 o'clock with some
No.
procedural thing.
No.
How about reports of officers?
Hi. Yeah, I do have a report. So in about 2 weeks, on Monday, December 1st, 5 p.m., we will be hosting our annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony right here, same place, the corner of Loma Linda Drive and Barton Road at the front lawn. So this year, we are excited to welcome back the Loma Linda Academy Choir. And we'll also be showcasing some of our newly decorated public works fleet, including the loader, high lift, and skid steer. And of course, Santa will be there for photos. So come, if you're available, come enjoy the festivities and come early.
I'm sorry, Santa will be on the
Do you get to drive the skid steer or what like are we driving them?
It's
Is
part of the
Councilman Rigsby
part
going
of
to
the
be
public
Santa
works
again?
fleet that's going to be decorated, and yes, you might be able to play with it as long as staff is around. But Santa will be coming in the fire truck sleigh again.
What? Oh, that brings up depending on her mood, she's a little temperamental. What about the ho-ho parade? Is that still occurring?
What?
Or whatever we call it. They call it ho-ho parade in other places. Now, that's a program other cities should copy and adopt, I think. Okay. All right. That's it. I think we're adjourned.
Let the record reflect that the committee ended because of a loss of quorum. You wanted to keep it till 11, but we left.
I do. Yeah.